Cult in a dead MMO. Is it this one? This one's 34 minutes. Wait, this one's kind of like a fucking fat one. And it's already 1:30. We can let it ride. Fuck it. Thanks to the resub Mamalona. Maybe Soul Eater. And thanks to the Prime Lux.
Welcome to Worlds Online, the internet's first 3D virtual world platform.
Woohoo! 3D, that's crazy. We can fucking smell and go wild in here.
Virtual space, online users can shop, watch movies, listen to music, play games, and collaborate with each other. Today's web user is looking for an intimate connection with friends, with celebrities, and with trending brands that reflect their values and lifestyle in both the real world and the virtual. By investing in Worlds, you are investing in the future. Worlds.com.
All good, Raidus. Just ask him about it.
Together.
Throughout the mid-2010s, an urban legend would surface about a mysterious MMO by the name of Worlds.com.
Thanks to resub Chippewa and the Tier 1 cuddles.
Having been launched to the public in the mid-1990s, the game was believed by many to be dead, discontinued, and lost to the inevitable void of internet history.
Where?
Unbeknownst to most,
how do people even find that?
From the truth, as Worlds.com was very much still running. But there was a catch. Venturing into the game today presents you with
this looks cool.
Of nothingness, a relic that was once bustling with life, and
you get to play as a duck or a penguin.
To life supports. The game, expectedly, is completely empty.
Thanks for the 5 gift subs, 28 down. Appreciate it.
You see, rumor had it that Worlds.com was hiding something, a shrouded purpose that's been kept from the public. Rumors involving in-game cults, doxing, graphic imagery, and virtual stalking have led curious minds to hesitantly venture into Worlds themselves in hopes of finding out if these allegations were true.
What the fuck? That's nuts! Alright.
This is the story of Worlds.com.
Alright, I'm super invested in this now. Is it a cool cult? Did they do cool things like give out candy on holidays and stuff? Or one of those bad ones like the Manson shit?
An aside. The 1990s were a magical time in the world of entertainment and the advancement of society. Being what I can only describe as the calm before the imminent mid-2000s technological storm, we were living in an era that brought us some unforgettable treasures in the realms of video gaming, movies, and television.
Blockbuster, classic, fuck
in
yeah.
the gaming world, for instance, new and unforgettable IPs such as Mario Kart,
Banjo-Kazooie,
Fallout, Resident Evil, and Silent Hill were born. And with these came game consoles that have stood the test of time in bringing us unforgettable experiences such as the Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, and the Dreamcast.
God, the Dreamcast was so good, the most underrated console in history, Power Stone. We need a third Power Stone, please? So good. Sugoi! Fuck, it was so good.
That predated the modern interconnected society that we live in today. A lot of nostalgia is carried inside of many, as the mid-1990s are remembered as a time when the internet was just barely getting its footing into mainstream culture.
Thanks to Prime Ireland.
During this era were nothing but an expensive novelty, at least for my family, and the ones that did have one used them primarily for work. In August of 1995, Microsoft would release a revolutionary competitor to the Netscape Navigator, the pre-existing OG of internet browsing, called the Internet Explorer.
Yeah!
If you were lucky enough to get your hands on a PC in this era, then, combined with the tools at your disposal in Windows 95, you were able to venture into the vast, wild west of an enigma, known as the World Wide Web.
God, the internet back then was so wild and wacky.
In today's culture, things have changed.
I'll never forget when I was horny and typed in like boobies and went to a site that had a demon on it.
Sterilized,
haunted.
Being pushed to the brink of minimalism and moderation. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of the magic and charm that existed in the wacky and terribly designed UIs of the past are largely gone, replaced by logos containing simple shapes, any shred of creative color being replaced by whites, Microsoft, and all-encompassing oversimplification of pretty much everything. As you've heard in my incessant rambling so far, the era was magical, and a lot of newfound creative mediums were on the rise. While video gaming via a conventional console was the primary method of escaping into a mystic world, the rise of the internet paved the path for a new form of interactive storytelling and interconnected social
gaming.
And those were a little something
For
we now know
gamers.
as MMOs,
Oh,
or massive
kinda.
multiplayer online video games.
I'm really sorry to hear that, bro. Wishing you the best moving forward. It's awful.
Of the many websites that were available to early adopters of the internet, one would be launched in April of 1995.
I'm sorry, I didn't see
with the
that,
name
dog.
of Worlds.com.
My bad, man.
The website was created by a
Thank
company
you.
simply named Worlds Inc. and housed a public 3D chat room that players could enter and explore to their heart's content. According to the website, the minimum configuration is a 90 MHz or faster processor with 32 megabytes of memory. The recommended platform is a Pentium class processor.
Okay, real quick, is it just me, or on his voice, is there like a really low voice layered into it? Is it just my headphones, or am I hearing like a fucking MMO demon in there? Yeah? Okay, cool. So it's not just me. I didn't know if my headphones were dying, or if Satan was communicating through Lil Nas's music and infiltrating or something like that. Fucking weirding me out. No one else mentioned it in the chat.
133 megahertz or faster with 48 megabytes of memory. Windows 95, 98, 2000, or NT. A whopping 80 megabytes of
Thanks,
free
Risa,
hard
Red
drive
Rider, and
space
Marksman.
and an active internet connection. The game was a big success, mostly attributed to the novelty of virtual online chat rooms at the time. It garnered the attention of various big names, including David Bowie, Steven Spielberg, and a digital artist by the name of Tamiko Thiel. The latter two actually teamed up at one point and created an in-game environment called the Starbright World, which was aimed at giving
Wow.
seriously ill children an outlet to interact. The gameplay is mostly what you'd expect from something out of the mid-1990s. At the outset of registering your profile, players are given the opportunity to choose between various avatars to represent themselves in-game. Among them are a human, a penguin, a monster, a kangaroo, and a clown.
Good selections.
Advertising
Not
on
bad.
websites are various realms.
Oh,
that
and
are
you can be on the
available for you to
Yankees?
Explore at your leisure. Among the hundreds that you're able to choose from, a few notable ones include worlds themed around David Bowie, the New York Yankees, the band Hanson, the Sky, an Animal House, and a Fun House.
Thanks to resub.
Venturing out into worlds for the first time,
Spionix?
you're thrown into a central hub with other players from around the world. The various themed environments that we mentioned prior are accessible through tunnels and doors that are next to their labels, and entering these immediately loads whichever one you so choose.
Pretty innovative for its
Like
time, to
any
be
3D
fair.
PC game is achieved using your keyboard and mouse, and also available to you is a chat box,
Thanks to
allowing you
Prime.
to communicate to
Again,
others
Grinna.
in real time. Now this seems like nothing out of the ordinary. Along with the primitive graphics, the game is pretty substandard today. At the time though, this was absolutely groundbreaking, and PC owners flooded this thing, giving it a burst of life that would deem Worlds.com a massive success.
Fuck yeah.
As with anything that's been crafted in the digital age though, the user base began to decline over the years. With the
Kinda
advent
seen
of
it.
various
More like
competitors,
Second Life.
The mid-2000s brought with it the inevitable desertion of the Worlds.com user base, as players moved on to bigger and better ventures. Second Life, RuneScape, Toontown, VMK, MyCoke,
Habbo
and
Hotel.
Habbo Hotel
Yeah, I knew it
were
was coming.
becoming viable alternatives that not only looked better, but gave players more to do with their own distinct charm. You may have noticed that most of the names
Soon,
that did start
Rotok.
off are now defunct. The Toontown, VMK, and MyCoke live support plugs were pulled as their developers encountered an existential problem that was prevalent from the start. They couldn't find a way to monetize them. Combined with this, The fact that these games were all run with the help of moderation teams and ongoing servers, it became evident that as long as these virtual worlds were online, whoever it was that was running them was losing money. At this point, you'd expect Worlds Inc. to pull the plug. With the dwindling user base and aging game mechanics, it seemed like this was the only sensible way to go.
Oh, giant spider, watch out, holy shit!
Or release something new and optimized for the next generation of online gaming. But they didn't.
Damn, this place is popping off
As
in
a
there.
matter of fact, Worlds.com is still downloadable and accessible to this day, and stands as an uncanny and deserted relic of the past.
This is cool.
Rumor has it that the game's creator,
I wanna play.
Tom Kidron, is simply fronting the server costs himself and running it out of his own home.
Good man.
That begs the question,
Thanks.
why on earth would an individual be fronting the costs to keep a dead video game alive? What part of this?
He's got a
abandoned
virtual
landscape
girlfriend with
is
big
so
titties.
pivotal that it's still in existence over 20 years later?
This looks so cool. Look at this.
In the short span of time that I've been here, it suddenly dawned on me that I'm visibly the new guy. Everyone here seems to know it.
Uh-oh.
I'm not a regular.
They think he's a cop. They think he's the feds.
Comfortable. Down the rabbit hole.
Run! Get out of there! Engage, no clip. Thanks to Resub Broden and Kenway. Yeah, someone is still running the servers, he just said that.
Rumors began to spread about the game thanks to certain anons from 4chan's VNX boards. Allegedly, there existed potentially illegal and cult-like behavior from the game's handful of players during that time period. As you'd expect, upon catching wind of this, the rest of 4chan did what they do and went in to investigate. Before we continue, I wanted to make something explicitly clear. In my hunting, it dawned on me that these allegations surfaced at a point in time that predated the year 2012. I say this because the oldest records that I've been able to dig up are from that year. Unfortunately, most of the archives, images, and audio files that we're going to get into have been lost to time.
What?
However, there are some that allow us to piece together a cohesive storyline as to what actually went on in Worlds.com. So let's talk about the game itself. A major element at the game's core was the ability for users to create and host their own customized universes.
Wait, I'm confused. What does he say? So everything here,
Shaper.
2012? What?
Much like Minecraft, if someone chose to do so, they could create their own server, build what they want, and invite certain players through a downloadable file that's accessible through Shaper. Many of these became archived on various websites, and even today, there are download links out there to access certain
Everything
custom
dated
worlds.
before 2012 are lost.
Effectively,
Okay.
the possibilities were endless, and harnessing
Thanks,
the
Resub Omni.
creative freedom that they were given, players were able to create some admittedly impressive worlds. Now that it's died down, though, things have become a bit darker. A bit more controversial.
I'm not sure about
so
Second
to
Life
speak.
having a cult.
While there are groups of people that are or might be strange in their own right, there are two that have starkly stood out to me as the most mysterious. Two users, a Jimbly and a Nexialist. Interestingly, both have crossed paths in the game. However, their stories couldn't be further apart. Contrary to Nexialist, the stories surrounding Jimbly seemed a bit more grounded in reality. But we'll get to it.
So what are this? Are those like the two raid bosses or something in here? The two different big groups?
First, I'd like to introduce you to Nexialist. According to an early 2012 blog by the name of ForgottenWorlds.com, the profile piece on him states the following. Nexialist is a regular at Worlds.com that has been trying to pull in the VNX boards to play this game. Nexialist is a successful user that's been able to get a cult following in the game which is hard to do. He constantly reaches out to dedicated players to join him, as he seems to be called the key bearer.
Key bearer.
Around the game
Okay.
without chatting. This isn't even close to covering entirely who this guy is rumored to be, so allow me to pick up where they left off. According to 4chan and various message boards, Nexialist is abstruse, a shred of indecipherable mystery that's lurked worlds.com for what some believe to be as long as the early 2000s. Encountering him
This is wacky.
and it's been rumored that you don't actually find him, he finds you. Upon discovering you, he'll approach you without words, standing as what appears to be a lifeless corpse as you begin to quietly panic at his disturbing avatar. After the initial shock dies down, you're told to follow him, and as a result, you embark on a journey through hellish customized corridors that bear satanic symbolism and graphic imagery.
Who is this guy? Can we get an update on the guy playing Professor Utonium? Where does he fit into this grand scheme?
After your tour, Nexialist will begin sending you disturbing audio files. Audio files that I wasn't able to find archives for, but if we go by descriptions from 4chaners, it's safe to assume that these sound like the distorted deaths of dying animals. Once you're scared to your wit's end and you leave the game, he already knows that you're going to go to 4chan to talk about it, because that's what he wants you to do. Spread the word, get people talking, and the next sucker that grows a sliver of curiosity and decides to check it out is his next victim. Unfortunately, this all reads like an urban legend. People have been able to capture screenshots and video of Nexialist over the years, but not much, aside from very few outliers, have been found that outlines what I'm describing. Because of that, I'd like to put a pin in this arcane figure and circle back on him later. Because
This is the game Vinesauce played, Vinny?
I'd like to bring you into.
Is it? Someone I saw on one of those threads. And he didn't encounter Nexialist?
The Hidden Worlds website that I mentioned earlier serves as a diary of the experiences that a man named
Hey,
George
thank you,
Costanza
Deathstorm.
had witnessed when he first played Worlds. According to his blog, he found a bizarre network that this Jimbly guy seems to be running, and the entries on his website outline a considerable amount of information that I'd like to dive into and unpack. The very first post on the website was made on January 5th, 2012. It reads as follows. Well, I started playing this game called Worlds.com. Seemed innocent, but according to V, it has some fucked up things from the past. Everything's forgotten here, and in a group we explored the game. In the coming days we'll share our stories and pictures here. Further on that day, another post was made outlining Jimbly's supposed network and its inner workings. The game started as
Interesting, Soul Eater.
We had gags while we explored the worlds, skeletons popping out, and finding Pegasus. Things a person could expect from playing Roblox or other games where your creations are welcome. But things turned bizarre. Our friend Grad, as we called him, was showing us these rooms that I mentioned, and eventually we ended up in a lobby filled with brown doors with text on them. These doors had the creator's name and a description of the level or world. This guy, Bilbo99, had messed up levels with Easter eggs everywhere, and we praised him for his creepiness. And then I noticed at the right corner of my window said erotic in Jimbly.
Hey,
This
Jimbly!
map was Jimbly's creation.
Fuck yeah,
It was
look at
a town
him.
filled with
He's having
shops
fun.
and Starbucks. However, things would take a turn. You see, there was a person that contacted me named Megalik. Her or his avatar
Thanks,
was
Resub Krabs.
a bird or an angel. She claimed that she was new in the world, as I was, but she'd been playing this game for a week and already gotten dirty and knew what this shit was really about. To act new is a common trick to bait new players. Anyway, Jimbly had a network that was serious. How serious? To enter his network,
Whoa!
you need to provide mugshots. For example, here's Bilbo99. There were a total
Hey,
of 3
Bilbo.
rooms filled with different mugshots of users, but room 2 was dedicated to Jimbly.
Hold on. Let me go to the bathroom real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry to blue ball you. Alright, I'm fucking back. Ended up taking a shit. Jump scared myself with my own fart. Pretty wild series of events. Let's go.
So we scavenged for Megalik and found this.
Well, I can't do that right now, Raidus. You're gonna have to
that I'll include.
ask a mod.
One thing I found that was standing out was a user named Kelikar. She was in the porn gallery, and I compiled this. It seems like someone has stalked her, and the rooms were labeled Kelicat. This user must have been a fat cat in the network. As you can see, Kelikat's written there, so what Jimbly does now is retrieving nude pictures of regulars that are still left. Megalik was the proof that we needed, since she'd only been playing for a week tops.
Wow, Jesus, Jimbly.
Below this, George displays the various screen caps that he was able to take of the various mugshots of different users. Of the bunch, he was even able to grab a few of Jimbly himself. Intrigued by this atypical finding, he decided that him and his group of friends wanted to investigate a bit on their new friend.
I don't think
Megalik.
I've seen that, Cumgar.
As it turns out, there was a bit more going on with them than they initially thought. And yet another post from the same day, titled, Megalik, a man or a woman, he describes the following. Megalik's nudes that could be found in the other post seemed too good to be true. Her head was cropped out and with the body of a young woman, while her mugshot shows an older woman in her 40s, and that picture's really old. What does that leave us with? She could have faked them because she doesn't want
So
to
how is this a
show
cult?
anything.
I'm a little
Could
confused.
be a man playing as a female.
Seems like a
Doesn't want to
Reddit
get
mod
killed.
using his
After
power to
that,
get
we discovered her
pictures.
real email, although it's linked to a man by the name of John. John's in his 50s, seems to enjoy MMOs.
He's a
while
tier
his
1
wife
biscuit
doesn't
boy.
show any interest of games, and has her only Facebook activity labeled as kids. So yes, Megalik might be or is the man posing as a fragile woman while baiting for pictures. Those pictures up there, except for his profile picture, is a year old. The pictures are from 2009, and then he used a picture of his wife to verify himself, and thought how cool it would be to send a fake picture of a pair of tits to make him look like a god in the game.
Okay. Classic
As we're beginning to see,
John, I
Jimbly's
guess.
network encompasses some extremely odd people. People that are impersonating others and using real-world mugshots to gain access to whatever it is that he's running. One might go as far to say that Nexialist isn't the cult leader here, but rather, it's Jimbly, as most of the rumors about the former seem to relate to what we found with the latter. In a third post I'd like to focus on, titled, Jimbly's Inner Circle,
Oh, sweet. Well, thank you,
George
Spooky.
proceeds to explain the following. The last post was about this weird map, about a man going by the name Jimbly that was trying to get naked pictures from regulars, or old players that were still active. So we stalked him. He hung out at a beach, but once we arrived, they'd all scatter and disappear. Thankfully, though, the friend tool and a built-in avatar tool could let us teleport to them while they were
Wow, good shit.
but that was for later. Meanwhile, we scavenged the net for Jimbly. We found his website, jimblyworlds.com.
Whoa,
and stored his
Jimbly.
pictures, jimblyworlds.com/pics, only to show a black screen with red typed text that said darkness.
Pretty cool website.
George reveals publicly accessible information about Jimbly, including an email address, before closing his post with the revelation that also, Jimbly's into traps. This can be found in his porn gallery. With this in the back of our mind, you know I couldn't just let this go. I had to get in. I had to find out if this was real.
There's no way it'd still be
I
up.
emailed Jimbly and began my hunt.
What would it be, 7 years later?
Jeremy Erickson. I start a message and write the following. Good evening, Jimbly. I've recently started playing Worlds and was interested in joining your in-game network to congregate with yourself and other players. Upon consulting with a few anons from X, I was told to reach out. I've downloaded a few worlds from your websites and am currently trying to get them working. Just let me know what I need to do when I'm in. Thanks, Jeremy.
This really doesn't seem like a cult, though. It's just a weird community.
So
Maybe
it's
it
been a
gets
few
culty
days.
now.
After a trek through worlds, a lack of a response, and dwindling time to wait, it's beginning to seem like Jimbly either isn't currently active or simply doesn't play this anymore. Though I have a hard time believing that, considering the fact that the Whois domain search on his websites reveals that it was updated on November 5th of 2019. I'm not entirely sure if Gimbli's the kind of guy that would have a sudden change of heart, but if you ask me, it is a bit recent. Anyway, with that under our belt, unfortunately, heading back to the blog reveals that most of the other threads outline mundane discoveries while exploring various official and user-crafted worlds. A few notable highlights include some of Gimbli's bizarre creations.
Hey, that's
other
Banger
threads
Sisters, I think?
remotely relevant to our investigation.
Saw that movie a long time ago.
Even so, the discoveries surrounding Gem are nothing short of unnerving. So what's actually going on here?
He's the Prime Purple Elite. So far, I haven't really seen anything too wild here. I was expecting something fucking crazy.
The primary consensus
In fact, I don't even know what we've learned other than
was that it's a front.
these people play an old game and are kind of weird.
Rumors are powerful things. I won't deny that, but there are a few points here that I'd like to unpack. Contrary to Nexialist, Gimbly surprisingly hasn't generated much buzz online. This bizarre, cult-like network that he seems to have created
How is it cult-like, though?
effectively cements him as somewhat of a wild card in my theorization. What this guy is doing is weird. From the mugshots to the vast database of supposed network members to his secret repository of graphic imagery, it seems like he is the one actually running the rumored cult. While it doesn't deal with Satanism and death like the urban legends claimed, this guy is, whether he knows it or not, effectively catalyzing a situation in which people run the risk of being doxxed. It took George not even one full day to piece together the real identity of the wife and man behind the Megalic mugshots, and it's unclear how many other selfies that he has stashed away in the world that he's, according to the blog, been building since 2005. To be frank, aside from the lack of a response, I wasn't able to find much else surrounding this guy, and it's safe to assume that there are others like him. A game
I'm not
that's
sure,
largely
Rotok.
abandoned, aside from a few key players, is surely something that would catch the eye of somebody trying to run some sort of network under the radar. With that being said, I encourage you to make your own conclusions about him. With the
Wait, is that
evidence
it?
at hand, it does appear that at one point in time, there was something going on behind the scenes. Whether or not it still is, or if the mysterious Gimbly is still active, remains to be seen. While I haven't been able to track him down, maybe you can, but keep in mind that if you're so curious as to venture in on your own, your potential discoveries may be nefarious. But remember, we're talking about Gimbly's custom worlds.
Thanks to Tier 1
Stay in the
Lodiplex.
official game,
It
and
gives
it's
sub
safe
Purple
to
Elite.
assume that you'll be alright. But that brings us to another point of discussion. Nexialist. You might recall that I mentioned the fact that users are able to create their own worlds. This was actually a pivotal mechanic in the game and gave players an extra layer of interactivity. In a sense, I could see the developers feeling as if they're future-proofing their
Did
game
not do Vid
as it allows
Chronicles.
creative freedom that was unheard of before the point of its release. With this in mind, we have to remember that most of his so-called cult activity was happening in these aforementioned user worlds. Regardless of his eerie demeanor, Nexialist was eager to
Thanks,
give
Resub
newcomers
Ernie.
a tour of many of these. As it turns out though, he's apparently come off as quite ordinary to many players. In one post on Reddit by a user named Goomilord, they claim that they even encountered Nex and that he's merely a normal guy. Apparently, he switched his avatar to Sanic at one point and began spamming the words, "There is no cult on worlds.com" in the chat.
So he's just an
Take it for what
RPer.
you will.
Like, the guy just fucking
I believe
RPs. Thanks, the resub Dick
So let's think about this logically.
and Ernie.
Worlds is, at its core, creepy in and of itself. The barren environments, combined with the uncanny primitive textures, naturally gives any unsuspecting players a sense of uneasiness, especially if you've caught wind of the various allegations surrounding Nex's mysterious character. To
That's
me,
pretty
I
cool.
believe that he's playing along, leading players to the belief that he's some sort of cult mastermind as a long-running joke. The worlds he frequents are creepy on purpose, and, in my opinion, he was capitalizing on it for a bit of fun.
Yeah,
His avatar
obviously,
is
for sure.
nightmarish. He comes off strangely when he wants to, and he executes this with a group of willing friends. The same friends that we see in the so-called cult screenshots that were captured in-game. A weird hobby, but to each their own. I'm not judging.
So there was nothing.
Now, with all of that out of the way, there's still one glaring question that remains. Why does World still exist?
That's the only really weird thing about it. Like, there's no point to keep it running. That's like the only odd thing. Like, Jimbly asking for pictures of people is the sign of a lonely person wanting to make sure, like, you know, this is a person, and I'm talking to a person. That's what it strikes me as. And the porn stuff is him taking fucking Google images.
Direct your attention to the game's owner. Tom Kidron, in his many years as the world's owner, has become somewhat known.
There's the
as
5
something
goose subs,
called a
Lotoplex. Thank you, man.
troll. Patent trolls
Appreciate it,
essentially
man.
purchase many different elements and ideas of a particular product and squat on them for years, filing lawsuits against anyone that violates them. The reason that these people are called patent trolls mainly rests on the fact that the ones they purchase are typically what they perceive to be a sought-after and core element of a particular product. In this case, Kidron's been squatting on patent number 7,181,690,
Classic
which is
patent.
titled System and Method for Enabling Users to Interact in a Virtual Space. This was filed on August 3rd, 2000, with further detail in the following. The invention provides a highly scalable architecture for a three-dimensional graphical multi-user interactive virtual world system. In a preferred embodiment, a plurality of users interact in a three-dimensional, computer-generated graphical space where each user executes a...
Yeah, he probably
process
sues everyone
to
that
view a
makes one of
virtual
these kind of
world
games.
from the perspective of that user. Sounds broad, doesn't it? That was on purpose. Andy's used it. Even as of this year, there are articles all over Google explaining legal cases that Worlds Inc. has filed
Worlds
against
vs.
companies and
Bungie?
IPs such as Second Life, Blizzard, Bungie, and more. And according to a Vice article from 2015,
They ever won?
Kidron rakes in a whopping $200,000 a year from his court proceedings. This
No way.
effectively explains away the server cost. When not many, if any players play your game at all, the result of this is cheap upkeep, low bandwidth, low server costs. Ergo, he's raking in cash with a positive net income. In the US, the typical patent lifespan is 20 years, so at the time of writing this, we have just short of 9 months before Kidron would either have to renew or simply let it expire. As a result of
I'm
this,
sure he renewed.
if he so chooses, he could let it run its course and retire from his relentless court proceedings. If he does, I wouldn't be surprised if the world's game goes down with it, effectively and permanently leaving this artifact of a game to die.
Someone do it for me. Did he renew it or did... Well, I already know he fucking renewed it.
So, all in all, as it turns out, Jimbly is the real enigma here. The custom worlds that he, and potentially others, have created are an indisputable testament to the underbelly of this archaic MMO. Today, it's unclear whether he's still active in the game or not.
Oh,
Even so,
this is a huge
the inner
tier
mechanisms
3.
of this fabled network are something
Rates
that perplexes
2?
me, as I see no end goal
Thank you.
other than to hoard a repository of
Appreciate
images
the huge
for
tier
his own
3.
enjoyment. Why he chose Worlds.com to do it is and will forever remain beyond me. Regardless, Worlds, whether still online by nefarious reasons or not, stands as somewhat of a time capsule to the primitive era of social gaming. Today, with the official non-custom Worlds, it stands as a corpse of the past, a window into what once was, and a sliver of mystical nostalgia, sending us back into a time when we all first discovered the world of the internet.
Very cute.
As far as we know, servers are, to this day, willingly being kept alive. Alongside this, the inevitable date that the game permanently goes offline is unclear, so if you're eager to experience this curiosity of old, then you better get on it soon. Stay in the official servers, and you'll be fine.
Oh, so this is not the
Solid.
game Vinny played.
Vast
I
and
looked when I was
incredibly
shitting. He played
aesthetic.
Active Worlds.
Otherwise, you'll run the risk of missing the nostalgic boats, leaving it to sail away, and for us to watch it go.
Yeah, so I feel like that was a bit off. Literally nothing cultish about that. You have a guy who's RPing, and you even mentioned that it's literally RPing, not really cultish. Gimbly, I think, is easily explained because it's clearly a lonely guy, and he asks for the pictures of anyone that plays and wants to be his friend. Not the most uncommon thing in the world. And the porn shit was just stock images, right? So it's not like I don't know where the cult was. Had an early head start, but it looks like Cult 1 will do Cult, and it's shorter anyway, so this will be a good taste of the channel anyway.
It goes without saying,
Thanks to the Prime
cults are
Smooth.
infamous for a very good reason. They are known to indoctrinate people, manipulate them,
Mhm.
and use them as a collective for the goals of an individual cult leader or a harmful belief system. In many cases, they target individuals that are very
Thanks to the 5 gift subs,
vulnerable because
Gaming
they're
Legacy.
generally more
We
likely
sub
to
Nuke
look
and
for
Ghostly.
leadership. Desperate people tend to look for desperate answers and tend to not use their better judgment. Take, for instance, the story of the miracle mineral supplement that claimed to cure just about anything.
Hey,
from
I remember
Alzheimer's
that.
to autism. And as it would turn out, not only did it not cure any disease, did not help any disease, but also contained bleach. Cults
Yeah.
thrive when followers of an individual collective prescribe themselves to blind misinformation.
Oh, here, hold on.
With all
Sorry.
of that being said, today
you
we're
go.
going to dive back into retracing the digital footsteps of one such cult. This is the story of the now defunct Reddit cult of Cantelmoism.
I've been on Reddit since day one, going from Dig to Reddit, and I've never heard of
My encounter with this bizarre
Cantelmoism.
topic first started
the
when I was looking
fuck?
for more internet mysteries to do videos on, and I was on another popular subreddit called the Reddit Bureau of Investigation, and I found a post that read the following:
Exit
super
Prime,
unusual
Soul.
subreddit where every
Give
post
sub
is
Roberto.
gilded an absurd amount of times. Here is ISS Gold, the subreddit in question. I'm pretty positive they're all bots, but why circle jerk thousands of dollars into gilding onto these posts for no reason at all? There has to be
So
some
they're a
reason
Reddit
why.
gold
At the time I had
cult?
first checked out this
That's
subreddit,
cute.
it was still up, but as of now has been made private. In a nutshell, there were countless
Exit Tier
posts
1
on this
Elite.
tiny subreddit that contained a vast amount of Reddit gold and silver. At first, it appeared like some sort of test subreddit, something very similar to the YouTube channel WebDriver Torso. While I couldn't
Exit
find
Tier
any
sub-
proof this was a test
Crabio and
subreddit,
Yeet
what I did
Yang.
find out from a
Soulless.
comment was what led me to this topic. A user had commented that this could have a possible connection to r/Cantelmoism, which dropped me right into one of the most interesting
I
stories
like the name.
I've ever come across on Reddit. Trying to access
Sounds like some old Middle Earth shit.
r/Cantelmoism, you'll notice that the entire community has been banned. What's interesting here is that Reddit actually took notice of this community and banned it altogether. Keep in
These are
mind
fine
there's
new
an
subs. Collage?
r/Scientology subreddit
Or
that is
collagen,
wide
excuse
open.
me.
So what was
Thank
so
you,
bad
collagen.
about this one that Reddit had to take action? I will note the reason for this subreddit being banned is listed as for being unmoderated, but I highly doubt that, as you'll soon learn more details. If you trace this entire situation back, this all starts with a Reddit user by the name of Chris CGC, whose real name is Chris Cantelmo, who became notorious
Hey!
on Reddit for giving away upwards of $70,000
Goddamn,
in
thank you,
Reddit
Tier 1
badges,
Craig, and the
which was
5 gift subs
calculated
again,
by his own
Phantom.
mods
Thank you,
on his
Phantom.
own subreddit. If you look into this guy's background, you'll learn that he owns a medical company called GL Sciences, as well as a few other companies in the past.
Very
for which he
successful
made quite a
Redditor.
bit of money. Just to make sure,
He
if
must
you're
use
unfamiliar with Reddit
r/finance.
badges, they're used as gifts from one Reddit user to another and are displayed on posts. They are usually given out as a good job award for being particularly funny or helpful. Reddit Silver is the cheapest Reddit badge you can put on a post. The next tier
Embarrassing.
is Reddit Gold,
It's
which gives
garbage.
you 1 week of Reddit Premium.
Yeah.
Lastly, there is Reddit Platinum, which provides 1 month of Reddit Premium. If you're unfamiliar with Reddit Premium,
you sub
essentially it
Aftershock,
is just a
you sub
membership
Doggo,
that
you
unlocks a
sub
variety of features with
Anarchitect.
Reddit, including the option to turn off ads.
Prime
Moving
Loan.
back to Chris CGC, he became well known, as I said, for randomly gilding posts on the r teenagers and r/dank memes subreddit. Keep in mind, this guy clearly targeted a younger demographic by going for those subreddits. For example, in this individual post, it would cost about $350, which features 69 platinum badges and
Oh, he's an epic
69 months of
memer.
Reddit
Big
Premium for the
man.
user who posted this. This was
Imagine
common
fucking
behavior
CEO
for
being a
Chris, as he would
memer.
basically be handing out money every single
Okay, that's
day.
Elon Musk,
In
actually.
fact,
Never
this was
mind.
even so common that they created an entire subreddit called Children of Chris, dedicated to people who were gifted gold by him. At first glance,
Thanks
this
for 5
seems
gift subs,
entirely
All-American. Good to see you,
harmless.
man.
This guy was being generous with a lot of
Appreciate
money
it.
and was reported to be spending thousands of dollars a day on gilded Reddit posts. As you can imagine, many people didn't have a problem
Thanks
with
to
getting free
Rich.
Reddit premium memberships, and it got to a point where people would just pass this guy's name around and say, "Message Chris, he'll send you gold." As I said, at first it seemed
Surprised I've
rather
never heard of
benign.
this.
It seemed like this guy simply had a bunch of money to go around and was willing to pull stunts for the sake of entertainment. But as time would go on, he would reveal the actual motive behind these gilding sprees. As a result of this guy gilding almost any post that was in his way, many people were curious about the man behind the gildings. A lot of people looked up to him because he was very generous. However, in an interview done by Insider Meme Trading after he gained some attention,
Insider
he's questioned about his
Meme
motive regarding
Trading.
the mass gilding sprees, to which he responds saying he wanted to get the message
Actually,
out
cool name,
that
not gonna lie.
DMT cured cancer. In case you're unfamiliar, DMT is an incredibly powerful
Holy shit.
hallucinogen. DMT, or dimethyltryptamine, has been studied in the field of cancer. However, there is no consistent peer-reviewed evidence that would suggest this in any way. And let's be real here.
God, what is
if
it?
a
What
cure
is it?
for cancer was found, do you think a guy would have to do a publicity stunt on
Do they
Reddit,
also use
spending
that for joint
thousands of
pain?
dollars to get the word out? In the months to
Give
come,
me 1 second. Hold on. Sorry to pause, but I need to look that up. DMT. They also use that for joint pain, don't they? Let me see. No, this isn't what I was thinking of. I remember a couple years back, I knew a guy that was peddling hard for some, like, really pseudoscience-y liquid jar-ish shit. Like, it looked like what the xenomorphs were born out of. And it was dimethyl something. I remember that, which is why it started to, like, fucking Winter Soldier me there for a minute. And he was like, this'll work, this'll cure your joint pain, inflammation, might make you taller, it's gonna make your beard more full. DXM? Maybe. Thanks for the hey socks. Good to see you, man. Thanks for the 5 gift subs, socks and lich. Jesus, you have the generosity tonight.
he
God
still
damn.
found some notoriety and started
Sounds
to
like
gain a following
HGH.
as a result of his generosity.
No.
And something I want to note here, many of these followers were not in it for the sake of his teachings, however, they were a byproduct of being around him. Nonetheless, a portion of people stuck around and did listen to what this guy had to say, and
Thanks
there
to
are
Prime
former
Jordy.
believers of
Triakis,
Cantomoism.
Robotits,
And as
gift
time
sub
went
fairy.
on, and through the help of
Mist.
Cantomoism Exposed, a subreddit we will get to, many people started to outline the potential symptoms of a forming cult. As I said earlier, looking back on this situation is
I
incredibly
highly doubt it's like a
difficult,
real
as all
cult.
the original threads surrounding
Probably just
the
an
r/slash
updoots to the left.
Cantomoism
Thanks for the
subreddit
gold,
have
stranger.
been deleted. Not to mention, Chris CGC himself was also banned from Reddit. In fact, Chris has been banned more than once. People collectively created a comprehensive list of alternate accounts that Chris was creating, and most
Thanks
of
to
them
Prime
are banned.
Jack.
What
Jock.
remains is a
Resub
subreddit
Keybon.
called Cantomoism Exposed, in which we get a full understanding of the situation. The sidebar of this individual subreddit
Thanks to
reads
Prime
the
Game Boy.
following. Cantomoism is a cult of personalities centered around Chris Cantomo, who came to prominence on Reddit through his mass gilding sprees. The cult espouses a form of psychedelic New Age pseudoscience, ranging from innocuous beliefs to dangerous self-harm.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
targeting members of r/teenagers for recruitment. We are here to aggregate information about Cantomoism and help people make informed
Thanks for
decisions
resub,
to
Mad
avoid
Dog.
further recruitment. Among the pinned threads in the subreddit, we find one called Outline of Initial Concerns with Cantomoism. Here we learn
Thanks for resub,
quite a
Bizarro.
bit about this whole fiasco. The thread reads the following. I'm interested in whether or not any true cults have ever emerged on Reddit. I've been following Chris CGC and his sub Cantomoism. I started
no
out
fap.
participating for the awards. I had 5 years of premium after a few days of participation, but once I had more than enough gold, I continued to participate out of interest for what is the strangest, most cult-like sub I've ever seen. Today, it is starting to get more renewed interest by the Reddit community. As a leader, Chris CGC has been suspended by
Thanks
Reddit
to
for
resub
3
Sleeps
days,
and Nathan.
and it was mentioned in a popular and just deleted Ask Reddit thread described as a really weird cult-like subreddit run by a guy who gilds literally all the posters. He talks about how he has terminal brain cancer and that he's cured it with DMT, and believes DMT can cure literally everything, and the users seem to agree for some reason. My personal take is that he's a schizophrenic, but I have no proof.
Or
Without
just a
going into too
scam
much
artist, what do you
depth,
mean?
Here's a few ways in which it seems like a cult. Mind-altering practices such as meditation, chanting,
Thanks to
speaking in
resub
tongues,
Pablo and Tier 1
denunciation
sesh.
sessions, and debilitating
Resub
work
Y2K.
routines are used in excess. Perhaps the main tenet of the whole cult is that DMT is a perfect and godly substance with no bad effects that everybody should be using, and that it cures cancer and AIDS.
Wow.
In fact, he has gone as far as saying that radiation and chemotherapy are torture and make patients worse, not better, which is extremely dangerous advice to people who have cancer. He has also urged his followers
did Chris
to
talk
stare
to Steve
directly
Jobs
into
or
the sun
something?
every day,
Is he
saying that
responsible
we've
for
been
that?
tricked into fearing the sun to make us dumber. The leadership induces feelings of shame and or guilt in order to influence and or control members. Often this is done through peer pressure and subtle forms of persuasion. This is a textbook and egregious example, especially when it turned out that the user YonZZ didn't actually do anything wrong and the cult members refused to accept it. The group is elitist, claiming a special, exalted status for itself. Its leaders and members, for example, the leader is considered the Messiah, a special being, an avatar.
No fucking way. All because he was gifting Reddit gold?
Save humanity.
That's like
Here's
just
how he
spitting in your
described
face
himself
and
to
then
Gowdy
wiping it
while
off.
he was
Reddit gold is
proselytizing his
useless.
sub. The leader, Chris CBC,
Truly
is
useless.
constantly referred to as God. He believes that he has special
Hold
knowledge.
on, I need to look at... What does Reddit gold do? Doesn't it just grant you access to the Reddit gold lounge? Like, who cares? So you hang out with some pretentious douchebags? Like, does it do anything else? Let's see. What is Reddit gold? Rewarded the post. What can you do with it? Here we go. So you get a week of Reddit Premium and 100 coins you can use to give someone silver. Is there ads on Reddit? I can't say I've perused the internet without an ad block in years. Is that like a big draw? Like you don't get ads? For a week? Oh, okay. It seems like an awfully large thing to say that the guy who gives you Reddit gold is the Messiah. Jesus. Thanks to the Prime Poison. Thanks to the Resubble
knowledge
Kami.
of the spirit world and wants to use the knowledge for the express goal of world peace. The group is also preoccupied with bringing in new members. Monetary rewards are gifted with participating in the sub. The group is preoccupied with money. He spends thousands of dollars a day gilding members with Reddit money, and he also is increasingly paying members real money and offering to pay for their plane rides to
That's a
visit
great
him.
deal. Wait, he's just
In
giving
total,
away money?
He spent over $100,000 recruiting followers with a main focus on
Yeah, just fucking
teenagers.
pretend to call him the
And
Messiah.
here are
Who
a few
cares?
examples
Free
of
cash
some
from a
of the
weirdo.
outrageous things he has said, but I think that thankfully most of these are not taken completely seriously by his followers. His most devoted followers definitely still believe him though.
AC
It
Tier 1
seems like
just
Reddit
did
is
stuff
starting to
with
catch
Prime.
on and get worried, as
No
his
7
account was
and
just
Resub Otis.
suspended for 3 days for telling people to call me or visit me to experience DMT as anti-cancer treatment. He encourages schizophrenia and believes that it's caused by excess DMT and that hallucinations are completely real. As the poster of this thread starts to update it, he goes into one of the podcast episodes that have now been deleted. Edit 3. I just listened to Chris' most recent podcast episode, and I can finally understand what people see in him as a leader and why his followers seem to love him. I'm almost convinced that he's an amazing and insane human being. Either that makes him less threatening because he's not the type of person to start a dangerous cult, or more threatening because he is the type of person that could convince enough people to
Yeah, I
pull
know,
it
I'm
off.
Leto.
The first half is just a normal conversation, which establishes trust in him before he transitioned to the crazier second half. We learn how Chris befriends the homeless and lets them come into his house whenever they want to.
That's kind of nice,
He
though.
wishes he had enough space to let thousands of them sleep in his backyard.
What?
He does have over an acre.
Maybe this guy is the
big
Messiah.
enough to start a commune/cult on a smaller scale. Then, in the second half, he starts talking about DMT,
He's
albeit
Tier
in a
1
far less insane
That
way
monkey
than
in
he
the
normally
Prime King
does.
Joe.
He then makes some apocalyptic prophecies that he previously talked about on Reddit. He talks about things such as a recession worse than the Great Depression being imminent, and World War III between US, Iran, and Israel being imminent as well. However, he does say that those two things will actually be good for everyone except the rich. Next, he tells us what his ideal society looks like. He wants something beyond communism, where money is made illegal, it's not too big of a stretch to say that he might consider implementing such a society on a smaller scale.
Money
if
is
he gains
illegal.
enough devoted followers. Lastly, he talks about
Wow.
suicide. At first, he said he thinks the people who commit suicide go to a better place
Oh, wow.
and are better
Holy
off.
shit.
This is obviously a very scary idea when you look at how common
Thanks for the
mass
gift sub again,
suicide
Socks.
is in cults. He seems to be aware of this as he quickly changes his tune to say that he really thinks that people who commit suicide have to start their life all over again, which would be boring. Overall,
Holy
there are
shit.
some Jonestown vibes, but mostly he just seems like an extremely moral, charitable, and crazy person. His followers fall in love with him for his morality
Didn't
and
pop up
charity,
for me, Kaiser.
missing
Well, thank
out
you
on the
then if you
crazy
did, man.
side, and that's where I think the danger lies. Alright, now, as I said previously, many of the links are dead. However,
Interesting.
going over to his website, we can in fact see many of the claims and the beliefs held by this guy, and they
Thanks for
still
some
stand
Monster
under the
Shark and
discovery
Gonna Barf
section
in the
of the
Prime
website.
Chronic.
While it might be insane to think that many people even remotely entertain this guy, he made examples out of a few of his devoted followers. who even
Jonestown
paid
is
for
one of
their
the most
college,
wild
in some
stories,
cases
yeah.
up to $15,000.
Whoa.
As a result, many people sucked up to him in hopes of financial gain. But at the time, Reddit turned a blind eye as they were getting paid through the nose by this guy. I personally believe, as well as many other people, that most of his so-called followers were just in it for the
Thanks
sake
for
of
I'm
money.
crazy in the resub
And when there
yish.
stopped being handouts on a daily basis, almost all of his followers started to turn on him for not providing evidence of his claims. At first, some people were willing to be patient since Chris had never provided any proof towards his claims regarding DMT. He came from a scientific background and would constantly post about his upcoming research being published. However, that obviously
Wait,
never
is this
happened.
Chris? This guy doesn't look like a dank memer at all. Looks like Tom Hanks in character. I thought it was gonna be a young guy. Cult leader my ass. Grandpa.
At another point
Ew.
in time, one of Cantelmoism's main
Give me back
followers
that
got a
Reddit
restraining order
gold.
from Chris, which led to him getting doxxed. This led to death threats for leaving the group, and ultimately this situation was starting to spiral. Later on, death threats would flood into basically anyone critiquing the group. However, many people noticed that in many cases,
Thanks
it
for
was just
resub, Mo.
Chris on an alternate account. In an effort to keep some of his followers on the hook without any financial incentives, Chris became desperate and would make alt accounts pretending to be news
Exactly,
outlets,
witch
stating that
doctor.
they were working on a story about his research. However, obviously people saw right through this. Up to this point, even the most devoted followers started to not be able to turn a blind eye towards his childish behavior. In many situations, he resorted to name-calling like a 5-year-old, and in other cases, he even
me
told
read
the
one.
person with cancer that he was an idiot. As a result, his own subreddit turned against him. It read the following: "This is a place for a very mentally ill man named Chris Cantelmo to post his craziness. Please get this man help and don't support him. He has no money left, no family left, and nothing good in his life."
Damn, Chris, fucking blasted
So that
on your
moves us
own
closer
dank
to
meme.
today, where around a month ago, this Reddit community as a whole has been banned. I can only imagine because Reddit wasn't getting paid off nearly as much. While Chris still remains online on his other platforms, he's still trying to recruit members in person, but his digital footprint still remains.
I wanna check out
Even
that
his
channel.
own Discord turned against him, and one of his top followers has now taken over. From an outsider like myself, looking at this entire situation, in my opinion,
Thanks for
I
the resub, Mo.
definitely see how this seems quite premeditated. I can see the angle a lot of people have mentioned regarding
Maybe
this guy
MacGyver.
being mentally ill as well. However, it seems like from the very beginning, this was calculated towards creating a cult. This guy comes from an educated background. He graduated from Yale. He set up a website. He targeted impressionable people, and he used one little sliver of attention and was vindictive towards anyone who didn't agree with his beliefs. Thankfully, however, the situation
Hey, thanks for the
has been
10 new
avoided
subs
to a
again,
large
Cyax. It's good
degree.
to see you tonight.
Something
Hope
else
you're
I
doing
should
well.
note is that I
you for
also
the
believe to a
generosity.
certain extent Chris has been experiencing a degree of psychosis.
Uh-oh.
I don't believe this guy to be mentally stable due to the constant drug use. Here we had a guy with a great livelihood and a good life, and he was well off. Then, seemingly out of nowhere in the later years of his life, after being an atheist for 56 years, he becomes ultra-spiritual as a result of taking DMT and
He
other
just wanted to
drugs in
start a
excess.
cult, man. He just did it the
refers to
wrong
himself
way.
as a god, and all of his teachings
should have
point
started
to
playing
obvious
Minecraft.
delusions and psychosis. That being said, I don't think talking shit directly to this guy helps whatsoever. As a result, anyone watching this video, don't go harass this guy. His brain obviously processes information differently, and even though what he attempted to do was terrible, it won't stop him from continuing
appreciate it,
doing what he's
Cyaxis.
doing.
Thank you for the
This
generosity
guy
again.
needs professional help. Instead, this video stands as something much more effective
Thanks
for
for
the
the sub, Kaiser.
situation than directly talking shit to him. At this point, if anyone comes across this rabbit hole or topic on the internet, they have a reference point to which they can understand how this group came to being and avoid it. With that being said, I thank you for joining me here today as we looked at
Well, that was
one of the
actually kind of
weirdest stories I've
interesting.
ever seen on Reddit. This is Barely Sociable. Have a great night.
Is that true? Only one guy said this, but now I have to know. Did Chris Cantelmo actually kill himself because this video? I'm gonna look it up. I feel like I'm being lied to, but that would be horrible. Let's see. Oh my God. Wait, that's real. That's fucking awful. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that guy wasn't lying. Wow. Well, that was a ride. Holy shit.
The Cult of Jared Leto.
Oh yeah, that's what it was called. The Cult of Jared Leto. Hey, Philion just made something on this. From cultural icon to cult leader. I don't know why I immediately read that as cancel culture.
Jared Leto is 50 years old.
Isn't
Let
that
that sink
fucking
in
wild?
for a minute. Why is it that Twitter seemingly lost their mind after Jared Leto presented a Grammy to Olivia Rodrigo? A seemingly innocent interaction with dark roots that only some are aware of. Jared Leto began his acting career in 1992 in the television series Camp Wilder, but really hit the limelight 2 years later with his
Requiem
breakout
for a
role
Dream.
as Jordan Catalano in My So-Called
That was one of my
Life. It was
favorite
clear
movies.
that he was a heartthrob and
Wait,
had
what?
acting talent.
This or Requiem?
Requiem for a Dream.
That was one of your favorite movies?
Yeah, definitely.
You have like the weirdest taste. That movie is fucking disturbing.
It's so good though.
I mean, it's an interesting movie, but like, goddamn. Then they have like that. How old were you when you liked that movie?
Probably like 16.
Oh, okay. So you weren't like a kid. I was gonna say they like
No.
ass to ass scene where the girl like does the ass to ass shit.
I mean, I think it did scar me, but like, if I would have seen it younger, yeah, that would have been bad.
Talent. A combination
Thanks
that
to
would
Bitch
allow him
Coco
to
and the
star
Prime
in
Silly.
Hollywood cult classics like Fight Club, American Psycho, and Requiem
Okay,
for a
chat, whoever
Dream.
just
Jared
said
Leto is
something
known
about
for
me
being
liking
a
plain
method
Cheerios.
actor,
That's not
aiming
very
to show
nice.
real and
Yeah,
raw
it's fucked up,
emotions
though.
in his roles by throwing himself into the world of the character that he plays. Sometimes he gets it right, other times he falls flat on his face. Method acting, traditionally known as the Stanislavski system, was developed as a way for
Oh,
actors
what
to
the
combine
fuck is
the
that?
outer and inner theatrical sense of self by physically embodying the character's experiences.
Today's actors must look to Moscow at the beginning of the 20th century to find one of the great theatrical figures of his time, an actor, stage director, teacher, and founder of the legendary Moscow Art Theater. This
It's
is
sweet,
Konstantin
but you can't do
Stanislavski.
links. No, I don't
He
do
was
method
an
acting.
enigma.
Classical
Successive
for me.
generations have either venerated him or discredited him. Others have denounced him as a charlatan purveyor of mumbo-jumbo. One thing is
Yeah,
undeniable.
it kind of came out of nowhere.
Stanislavski, his theater, and his
Purveyor of
acting system found
mumbo-jumbo.
immortality, even as the world around him
I
was
mean, it's a
being
pretty
torn
cool
apart.
Although
sentence.
method acting is a legitimate way
Is it,
that many
the
actors
bit
get into
in the-
character,
yeah, the
it's
bitch
oftentimes
Coco.
used as a selling point for modern movies. Usually, headlines are run showcasing the extremes that some of these actors go to in order to prepare for their roles. It's cringy and oftentimes embellished or fabricated to stir up hype. This is one of the main reasons why people
give
hate
some
Jared
meat
Leto's Joker,
bits
but
pineapple.
we'll get into that later. Parallel to his rise to fame in Hollywood,
He
during
really
the
does look like
90s,
Zac
Jared Leto
Efron.
would start a band with his brother Shannon.
see that.
They would name it 30 Seconds to Mars.
God, that
If you
band
grew up
slaps.
during this time like myself,
Yeah,
you
that
can
was
probably
one of my
remember
favorite
The
songs.
Kill playing on
Yeah.
every alternative radio station in the 2000s. 30 Seconds to Mars would go on to have numerous breakout hits as their style shifted from edgy to pop. This is why many 30 Seconds to Mars fans are nostalgic of their original music,
thanks for the 5
but
gift
cringe
subs,
at their
Quentin.
new stuff. They continue
Thanks,
to create
Quentin.
music around vague, relatable themes such as struggle, love, life, death, and faith. Did 30 Seconds to Mars dominate any genre? Probably not. But they were insanely
These are the 10
successful in
gifts of
creating a
soft
cult
danger.
following that is now bigger than ever, known
Thank you,
as
Soft.
the Echelon. The Echelon is what 30 Seconds to Mars fans collectively call themselves. Not only are they obsessed with the band's music, but also the themes and messages prevalent in all aspects of the community. Members of the Echelon refer to each other as part of a family. From an outside view, the Echelon is just like any other stan group. And the reality is, stan groups are cash cows. Jared Leto knows this, and perpetuates the us versus them dynamic to increase rapport with his fans. It's one of the many ways in which he breaks the audience-artist wall without actually having to do much and reap the benefits. Each member of the Echelon will go as far as to follow the band around the world.
Yeah, I know a little bit about Jared Leto's cult. The 30 Seconds to Mars has retreats for their fans, and one of them, the 30 Seconds to Mars fans, the Echelons or whatever, went to, I think it was like an island or something, and everyone dressed in white. That was the whole theme, that they just all dress in white, and then it got real culty real quick.
Their logo is a triad with a line through it, which you can find on almost any of their work and on Leto himself. Twice. In 2009, the band released merch which said, "Yes, we are a cult." Although this is supposedly an inside joke between Jared Leto and his superfans, it's a slippery slope when given the context of Jared Leto's reputation. If you define cult as a group or movement held together by a shared commitment to a charismatic leader or ideology, then the Echelon checks all the boxes. And it certainly doesn't help his case that he literally looks like Jesus. In 2015, Jared Leto started Camp Mars.
There it is.
A Malibu retreat where fans can experience the band on a closer level. Camp Mars included outdoor activities, live performances from the band, and a chance to meet Jared Leto himself. Packages ranged from sleeping in tents to VIP lounges, and the prices increased accordingly. Camp Mars was a huge success, and after 2015, it became tradition. It would ultimately evolve into something much bigger. Mars Island is a 3-night all-inclusive getaway on the private island of Obanjan in Croatia. Think Fire Festival, but drugs and alcohol are prohibited, and Mars Island actually happened. Sober people, yeah. That's who I want to party with. Packages include yoga,
I bet it was fucking lit,
and 2 30 Seconds to Mars performances. Prices start at $1,700, where you probably sleep on a banana leaf, and go up to an undisclosed amount if you opt in for the Phoenix package,
30 Seconds to Mars,
which is probably where you sleep next to Jared Leto himself. I wish I was kidding. That sounds all fun and dandy, but I don't know about you guys. I would much rather stay home and get some quality sleep, which is why today's video is sponsored by Helix. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding customized to fit your needs, conveniently shipped in a box,
which I'm sure he'll show. It's nothing but
everybody's different, and Helix knows that. So they made a sleep quiz that helps match your sleeping preferences with your unique body type to find the perfect mattress for you. Based on your different Helix Sleep has a mattress for everyone. If you happen to sleep with a partner or a pet, you can take the quiz together and find the best compromise for all of you. I personally sleep on my side and stomach, and I like a nice medium mattress feel, and that's why I was matched with the Midnight Lux. I love my Helix, and I think you would too. If you're in the need for a new bed, check out Helix.
Texas.
You can click the link down below or go to helixsleep.com/Philion and get up to $200 off your Helix mattress. Plus,
I don't have my
2 free
cowboy hat
pillows.
on.
And thank you to Helix for sponsoring this video. On Mars Island, there's a tradition known as the Church of Mars, where Jared Leto actually performs in a cathedral while totally not acting like a cult leader. One of the nights in 2019 consisted of a white night, where everyone dressed up in white and sang Kumbaya by the fire. Once again, Jared Leto leans into the cult accusations by being self-aware about it. Let's all pose for a picture to mess with the media, except self-awareness doesn't make it any less of an actual
I'll just
cult.
go.
And one
also, this guy right here is one of only 2 dudes. This is, I don't know how, because I feel like Jared Leto wouldn't allow very many men on his island. But he was able to sneak in there, not only sneak in there, but also be in the front row of a Jared Leto cult meeting, so.
Maybe he's like their #1 fan.
It wouldn't matter though. This is a cult. They're all equal.
Maybe he's killed the most people for them.
That's, well, I don't know. He's not even dressed appropriately because it's not even a plain white shirt. It's like a plain white shirt with a snake on it. Like, I don't know, he didn't really get the memo. I see.
Wandered in.
That's probably what it was. He just lives on the island. I see 4. Where? There's this guy and there's this guy, and these are the only 2 I've ever seen in the footage that exists. This is like a game of Where's Waldo. Hey, I really appreciate it, Forky. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate the raid and hope your night is fantastic.
Glaringly obvious observation is that most
Oh, right here. Wearing a Marvel shirt.
Nice.
Okay.
of the people here are women. I thought this was strange too. One of the package add-ons for your luxury stay in Croatia includes a tattoo service, so you can get a tribal marking of your favorite cult leader. Mars Island is an experience like no other. Jared Leto lives his life like he's on Mars. The man is detached from reality physically and figuratively. He's been riding his breakout success for over 2 decades, and it doesn't seem like it will ever slow down. Have you ever seen celebrities completely abuse their power by making interviewers uncomfortable? I've observed that many celebrities get off on preying on women in front of a camera. They like to
Don't
push
show
buttons,
Vin Diesel
be
like this.
inappropriate, and see
Not
how much
Dominic
they can
Toretto.
get away with by trying to charm or seduce.
Is he
When in
a good
reality,
guy?
they are playing a
I think Vin Diesel's like a good guy in real life, but he had like a real bad moment. So that little clip he was showing there is it was an interview with some girl for whatever Fast and Furious number, I think it was 8. And he was drunk and wouldn't stop like hitting on her. But in the weirdest way. He was like talking to, I'll just pull it up. I think he was talking about like marriage or something at one point, and then he gets down on his knees and chases her.
She's so beautiful, man. Am I right or wrong? Look at her. How am I supposed to do this interview? Look at this woman. She's so beautiful. Oh, no, man. Talk to me, baby.
Whatever, it's Brazil.
Tell me your story. Tell me your story. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's go have lunch. My God, I love her. Look how beautiful she is.
Thank you.
God, wow. Man.
You love Dungeons and Dragons?
I'm anything.
Oh, the closed captions are a little off on that one.
Yeah,
You're
like,
probably a little
Love
confused
Dungeons and
there.
Dragons?
So she said you're probably a nerd like me and love Dungeons and Dragons, which she does.
The Jews and Dragons.
Yeah, no, that's I don't know. It's a little weird from YouTube there.
She's so beautiful. I'm in love. I'm in love with the interview.
So you play Dungeons and Dragons?
I play Dungeons and Dragons.
So I brought you...
I did say I'm pretty good.
Did you? Eu sou o Groot.
It's so good.
Eu sou o Groot. Eu...
Oh my god,
She's so fucking sexy.
He's so good. He's so suave.
Look at her.
Eu sou o Groot.
Does anyone say this? Guys, what's wrong? Am I the only one that's saying it? Look at her. She's so fucking beautiful. It's like you can't even do an interview with her because you're just like da 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 da.
Oh
right or
god,
wrong?
I misremembered how it went
Someone
down.
save
But
me.
Jesus Christ.
When did this turn into beautiful world? When did this turn into the most gorgeous girl in Brazil? When did this turn into I love you?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. I can't wait to see the new Triple X. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Diesel.
Oh, man.
Leo.
Really?
What are you?
Hot.
Hot.
That's nice.
Let me guess.
Stegosaurus.
You really?
Yeah.
Saggy?
No.
What?
What is happening? Is this a real conversation?
You're a
We're perfect
Pisces?
together.
The film hinted at a sexual relationship between the two of you.
Did it?
Did it?
Is that what you took away from it?
I don't know. What do you think?
It's kind of like a Rorschach test, I think. What did you think?
I'm thinking, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Dirty birdie.
Oh.
Also, what are those interview questions?
I believe that Jared Leto and other celebrities
Oh,
are
what a
never
weird
really challenged
response.
on this type of behavior for a couple
Jesus
of reasons.
Christ.
Number one, cameras are rolling and the interviewers have a job to uphold. The spontaneity that will ensue directly after challenging a celebrity is too much of a risk.
Hey,
Number
Reese,
two, they
dank
don't know how to
her.
react because it's awkward.
And yeah, we
number
watch
three,
Mansers on stream.
sometimes the interviewers play into it because they are actually starstruck and attracted to the celebrity, which reinforces this type of behavior.
I haven't finished here. There's work yet to be done.
Have you had it?
Into her eyes, they're absolutely, insane. They're gold and blue and...
I was thinking the same thing. Can we? How to speak to ladies?
Jared Leto is fully aware of his talent and looks, and he uses it to get away with everything. He makes it a point to always touch women, bring them in close, and
I don't
bask
know.
in
I feel like
attention
he's
in
just
front of other people.
a psychopath.
He appears
I don't think he's, like,
confident
super
because
aware
he
of
truly believes
shit.
that he's untouchable. September 12th, 2005. The New York Post runs an article that states, Jared Leto likes him young. The 33-year-old Requiem for a Dream actor, last seen squiring Ashley Olsen and Lindsay Lohan around town, has been aggressively pursuing many of the teen models shacked up at the Maritime Hotel.
Yeah,
Leto
sounds
booked
about
a
right.
suite at the Meatpacking District
He's probably
hotspot
nourished.
while he was in town with his rock band 30 Seconds to Mars, has become infamous for calling and texting some of his underage objects of desire several times a day. He's been approaching...
That's such a, like, I guess this is not the right phrasing, but like an open secret. Because I saw even on Twitter, people were, like, in the industry were saying things like, I remember James Gunn made a tweet where someone made a point to say Jared Leto hits on everything with a vagina on set, or like any woman on set, and James Gunn replied, oh, he actually waits till they're 18 in real life, implying that, like, with texts and shit, he doesn't care if they're of age or something. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, it's like, it's been talked about a lot for a long time. I don't know why that isn't like a more well-known thing.
In 2011, Jared Leto makes a fool of a man sitting during one of his shows.
Yeah, that was an
This
old one.
is completely uncalled for.
Hold on.
That hairstyle's kind of nutty.
Hey, buddy.
David Bowie shit right there.
Hey, yo, you with your fingers in your chin beard. What are you sitting on your fucking ass for? Huh? This is the 30 Seconds to Mars show, okay?
Yeah.
If you can't stand up, you better be up off your fucking ass right now. You hear me?
Like pans over as a guy in a wheelchair.
It actually, I'm pretty sure it is, if I remember correctly.
Stop.
Does he understand what I'm saying to him right now? No, don't look behind you. I'm looking at you. Yes, you. Yes, you. Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, no, I was wrong. Damn.
In 2013, Jared Leto held a promotional contest for his upcoming album, Love, Lust, Faith, Dreams. This contest was called #TheSleepover, in which 5 lucky fans who pre-ordered the album would get to sleep with Jared Leto. Yeah. This was, of course, accompanied by Jared Leto's sad attempt at humor. You do know I sleep in a coffin. I will admit my bed is more like a hotel than most. In 2015, James Gunn, director of
that's what I just brought up.
and the Suicide Squad, posted a cryptic video on Periscope.
never mind.
The exact contents in the video are unknown, as it was deleted the very next morning by Gunn himself. But accounts recall ranting about Jared Leto for being an overall asshole and sleeping with underage girls.
Oh,
he
shit.
posted this the next morning. Good morning to Bogota, Colombia, and sorry to all of you around the world who saw my ambient-fueled Periscope session last night at 3 a.m. Yes, I erased it. In 2016, Jared Leto admitted to sending anal beads and used condoms to fellow cast members of Suicide Squad.
Now, how about the gifts you gave everyone?
In order to get in character the Joker, he sent his co-stars on Suicide Squad things ranging from like pig carcass, anal beads, I guess, and used condoms.
How the fuck does that relate to the Joker?
I don't know.
Were they jokes?
I don't know. The guy's a fucking maniac. To method act for Morbius, apparently on set, he would walk around on crutches or in a wheelchair and demand that he be pushed around on set or some shit like that.
Holy shit.
Rats.
Doesn't make
bullets,
any sense.
A
He
hog.
might be Satan incarnate.
Where did that come from?
No, he's way too dumb.
Get the anal beads,
Who did you send anal beads to?
the used condoms.
Did not.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
Step back, Frank. You can't just say use condoms and we're just gonna like forget.
I know it's a family show, but we can.
Don't worry.
We can educate people here. At least they were used.
Who did you send used condoms to?
Oh, everybody.
Yeah,
I got that.
Jared sent.
Huh?
You can't just
What
skip
was he
over.
educating people?
I don't know.
What do you say? What do you think?
You know, you say Jared has gone full Joker. Jared, he went full Joker, you know. And the rule generally is never go full Joker.
Oh, Richard.
That's ironic. He then later denied all of it and said it was just one big joke.
What exactly did people get wrong about the Joker?
I mean, I just think that there were some things, you know, that were mentioned about like gifts and the fact that I was giving used condoms to people, which was not true.
We can say that right now.
It
That
was
is
not true. And what are you going to do at that moment? You can't even, it doesn't matter how loud you shout or hold up a sign, you know, with your pants off in Times Square. People are going to go with the story that they want to run.
May 16th, 2018, Dylan Sprouse, or Zach from Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, tweets, "Yo, at Jared Leto, now that you've slid into the DM,
oh, this is the James Gunn tweet.
Model age 18 to 25, what would you say your successor
I think James
is?"
Gunn's reply.
This tweet seemingly came out of nowhere. Why would Zach from the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody know this sort of information? And two, why would he blast Jared Leto on Twitter for thousands to see? And interestingly enough, James Gunn responded.
That's
starts at 18 on the internet. We know that Jared Leto is creepy with girls. We know that Jared Leto has gotten with fans.
You can probably guess which lyrics I'm going to pick out of Up in the Air.
Oh, I don't know. Surprise me.
I'll wrap my hands around your neck so tight with love, love, love.
Yeah.
Horrible lyrics.
Quite erotic.
Is it?
That's the whole line?
Tell us a little bit
It's
more.
funny that you would take it that way.
About, well, tell us what the song's about if that's not what it is.
Well, I think, what is it they say? Everything is about sex, except for sex. Sex is about power, right?
Who has ever said that in the history of the world that wasn't just a rapist? What the fuck? That's not like a saying that anyone has ever said. Ever.
Creeps say that.
God damn. The woman out without her consent. It's important to note that Tumblr posts fantasizing about sleeping with the band muddy the water of actual evidence against Jared Leto. Is Jared Leto insufferable as a person?
Nostalgia?
Yeah, anyone can get behind that. There's weird, probably shouldn't do that type of behavior. And then there's illegal. Where Jared Leto falls on the spectrum is unclear. Decade-long rumors following him across two different career paths is not a good sign. And neither is this one. Let me fix that.
Ooh, the truth. Banger from Philion. I didn't know all of that about Jared Leto, but I am well versed in the lore of Jared. Man's a fucking lunatic. And he is in no good movies for the last like 20 fucking... Please watch one of the goofy pool and jungle building videos. I don't really like those because they're fake. The majority of those, like, we built the Taj Mahal out of dirt in the middle of nowhere, aren't real. They use actual modern machinery. You can usually see like the tracks. And they also never clean their shit up, so they make it for the video and then just leave it to sit there forever. So it defeats the whole purpose. And the fact that they don't use it or clean up after themselves is infuriating. Who, in fact, here, where's that video? It was on Reddit like a year or so ago. Thanks for 5 gift subs, Joseph. There's a guy who bought a giant pile of land, and on that land there was a place that a lot of YouTubers would go to do those things. And a lot of the trees were destroyed, the ground unusable now, all from the machinery that they'd bring in there to make those things, and it's just giant holes in the ground that makes it unusable. Does anyone remember what the name of that video was? He got the drone footage out and showed like there was like 10 of those fucking things on his property. Yeah, Primitive Technology is the only good one. Indian Builders Exposed? I don't think that's the name of it. Oh, actually, this actually might be it. Or at least one of them. Thanks to resub Pharaoh, Orc, Tug, and Ink, and Smith. Actually, this isn't the video I was thinking of, but same thing. The one I was thinking of was a little bit different because there was a bunch of like tracks from where the machines would roll them. Because they don't actually build these things by hand using sticks and stones. That's just for the camera. Well, in fact, you can even see it here. Like there's little trails that they made with their machines. Yeah, it's from those primitive building videos. Again, they're not real. At least, not all of them. Primitive Technology is real. And I'm sure there's probably a couple other outliers, but the vast majority are not. No, primitive technology is actually genuine. From everything I've read and seen from primitive technology, that is as real as that shit gets. Makes a prime rabbit. Those pools are death traps for animals now. True. There's another video I watched very similar to this. And I think that was mentioned in the comments. Actually, I mean, I guess it could have been this. It's been a while since I've seen it, but maybe it was this video. The one thing this is missing though is the giant tracks from where they tear down the trees. Fucking rough. Oh, actually, no, it might have been this video. Yeah, they just pointed out the cement bags and shit. Maybe it was. I remembered more like tire tracks, though. But yeah, all those are fake. Not real. Have to disagree with your stance on this respectfully. What's my stance other than it's not real, which it's not. There's evidence there. There's bags of cement, as well as lying about where they were getting that water. This one didn't have the tire tracks that I remembered, but it is there. Maybe the follow-up? It seems like it's still just going to be like a recap of where everything's at over the course of months, because this guy now owns the land, I'm guessing. Yeah, so it's just revisiting the same ones. How much of a disaster. Yeah, so this video is just 6 months later, I think. But it's the same thing, same structures. Day 5,000 of commenting, let me solo her Elden Ring. I already know about it. It's cool, but the video is not that interesting, man. It's just a guy who helps you kill Melania. Like, it's cool, but it's not like that interesting. So it just ends up being a shit ton of waste. Yeah. Pickled chicken on a bun? Okay. Ah, the drunk cook again, eh?
What's on? We're ready to go, yeah? Okay, what are we doing? Oh, hang on a second.
Pickled chicken, baby, let's go! Bro, do you know you can pickle fucking anything, really?
It's from, I don't know who it was. I don't know who asked for it. But somebody asked me to do this one, and I'm going to do it as close as I can. But I'm not going to do it the exact same way.
I'm sure that Walmart bag is clean.
I don't follow recipes.
Yeah, really beat the devil out of it. Let's go.
Drop her back in a bag. The Ziploc bag.
What was the point in pounding the chicken out then? You could have just pounded it in that bag.
Okay. There's the secret ingredient. This is when it's going to get into you. Perfect. Pickle juice.
Whoa!
Alright, not so much it's going to overpower the pickle. I want the pickle to shine through. Sit in the fridge for 1 hour. And
is that enough time for it to pickle?
The 1 hour's up.
Easy resub Xeno cool. Yeah.
We on? Yeah. Okay, we soak the chicken breast in pickle juice and jalapeno juice.
Use some watchdog.
I need panko breadcrumbs. I've got them somewhere right.
I bet this is gonna turn out amazing.
Panko, pink, gay panko.
Doesn't pickle the chicken, it's just a brine. Then I've been lied to.
We got panko. This is paprika. 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 Paprika!
Yeah, it is. Chick-fil-A brines their chicken with pickle juice, do they?
Okay, spice, and black pepper. Black pepper everywhere.
This guy just cross-contaminated his entire kitchen.
Throw some in your crumbs.
It's called flavor.
I love black pepper.
Wow.
Garlic powder.
Hey, thanks, Dad. Looking good.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, floury breadcrumbs. Or 8.
God, this is just so American. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Now let's get some like motor oil as like a marinade.
Flour, egg,
Egg the prime,
breadcrumb,
sea bash.
February, month of February. I think we talked about this before. The flour, spiced flour. Oh, this is gonna be beautiful. Pickle fucking chicken breast sandwich.
This guy's not Canadian. This guy's very clearly a God-fearing, red-blooded American
Salt that filtering
patriot.
egg. Ready to flip it? Edge it out. Perfect.
Thanks, you said Bromini and Tree Boy.
Tobacco's up in the house. Mine nugget. Alright. Whatever.
I actually bet this turned out real yummy.
Gonna go up to 319 degrees.
Nice.
Just kidding, man. Yeah, it's about 325. Okay.
Maybe you should
That's
silent.
cooking for a second. What else goes on there?
Resub
I don't
madness.
know. Because we're cooking.
Man, I am mesmerized by this guy's
Yeah.
cooking. The way he commands this kitchen is nothing shy of genius. What a leader. Served with a side of cigarettes? Well, yeah, I hope so.
Let that cook for a second. We'll be right back, man. Crack a biz here in the hizzy.
What words did he just use there? Crack a bizzard in the hizzy?
Thing, man. Look at that. The color on that motherfucker.
Yeah, maybe he is Canadian. I don't know. Do you guys say that?
Using the knife supplied by, come over here, light behind me, but we're gonna do something. Oh yeah, a little lemon. I forgot about.
Yum. I mean, that looks fine, really, honestly.
Oh, can I have some of that, man? Can I have this?
Well, all things considered, that could have been a lot worse. Hey, congratulations. That's a big bizzer in the hizzy, I suppose. Looks a little pink. Yeah, medium rare. Nothing wrong with that. Builds character.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah! Whee! Oh, man.
Who's there?
Oh, he's gonna be trapped in the TV, like in Willy Wonka's. Hey, can't you see I'm trying to celebrate?
Hey, can you keep it down, please?
Front desk.
Hi, this is Kim Smith in room 325. The room next door to me keeps banging on the wall. Is there something you can do about that?
I'm sorry, but there's no one checked into the room next to you.
How did you check that
You're
quickly?
sure? Do you think you checked the right room?
No, it was way too quick.
On the 3rd floor.
Oh. I guess that would make it easier.
Okay, there's somebody definitely next door. Can you send someone to check, please?
Sure thing. I'll send someone now.
It's the fisherman. He was just trying to celebrate New Year's Eve and got a little rowdy. Oh my god. Oh, it's a shit
Anyone
demon.
there?
Get out of there quick. Good call, they don't like the light. Nice. Must have been the wind. Why turn that off? You blew it.
Front desk.
There's no one in here.
I'll let her know.
Oh my god. Well, now look what you did. It's the Hamburglar.
Hello.
Yeah, next thing you hear is rabble rabble.
No one's there. Can I help you with anything else?
I guess quick question. Does the Hamburglar actually make that noise, that rabble rabble? Is that real? Is that actually what the Hamburglar says? The only reason I know that is from the fucking Peacemaker show, where the guy's describing the Hamburglar and then says rabble rabble. Now for some reason I just attribute that sound to him like forever now. That was Grimace that did that noise, was it? I'm just gonna assume it's correct.
No. No one in there, huh?
Time to take care of this myself.
Hi.
Well, now you're breaking and entering. You've turned this simple checkup
I'm
into
in
a
the room
felony.
next door. Can you please stop banging on the walls?
Oh God. Holy shit. And that's why there's no one on the 3rd floor. They all get knocked. Alright, I think I'm gonna go to bed. I'm getting tired. Alright everyone, thanks for tuning in. To everyone who donated, big thank you. New subs, welcome aboard. Sub means a lot to me, so thanks for subbing. Hope you enjoy the emotes. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. This guy looks like a sex doll. Is there a human being here? Or, like, the quality's so bad I can't even tell. Is this flesh? He can summon up an army of 200 million people, and he's the head of the world's martial arts committee?
Here on my right is Alexander Romanov, who is a grandmaster of an Illuminati group that claims to have started the French, Russian, and American revolutions.
Wow.
As you may know, there has been a battle going on over the future of this planet.
Awfully powerful.
Back in May of 2021, I was exposed to a bizarre conspiracy community that makes flat earthers look reasonable by comparison. Unlike a lot of conspiracy theories, which tend to have a small degree of truth, which is often extrapolated into outright fiction, this conspiracy theory is based on nothing but pure fantasy. Imagine if someone told you they lived out the plot of the movie Total Recall. That they thought they were living a regular life until one day they recovered memories of being a secret agent fighting an evil organization on Mars. Now, what if they also said that they were a space marine who fought insectoid and reptilian extraterrestrials on different planets? And finally, what if they capped it all off by claiming to be G.I. Joe?
I'd say that's a fucking good man.
If you ever encounter someone like this, it's possible that they believe that they are part of the secret space program. The secret space program is a conspiracy theory which has grown in popularity within the past decade. There are YouTube channels, social media groups, and entire conferences dedicated to a shared belief that humanity has already traveled to the far reaches of space, and that a shadowy world government has been hiding this truth from the masses. A lot of the people who buy into this theory also believe that they were abducted and forced to serve in the secret space program against their will. This isn't a LARP, or an ARG, or a giant sci-fi influenced role-playing game. No. These people genuinely believe this stuff, and their community is getting bigger by the day. I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years, this overtakes Flat Earth as the most ridiculed conspiracy theory by the general population. And that's because it's way, way crazier. I was put onto this by a friend of mine who goes by the handle Vapes for Christ. Here's us talking about it on a Discord call.
Thanks a prime, Kevin.
So, I was listening to this podcast called The Unexplained of Howard Hughes. It's basically like the UK's equivalent to Coast to Coast. It's on the radio as well. And they just had this one guy in there I saw. His name was Captain Randy Kramer. He was saying stuff like he was actually a genetically enhanced super soldier made in a lab in the late 1960s for a secret space program where he'd be battling aliens on Mars for the Mars Defense Force. And the more I looked into this, he's not alone. There's a whole community of people that claim they've also been part of this program
Randy lived on the planet Mars for 17 years, where he said there were approximately 6 to 7 million people living, including various ET races.
So I was genetically engineered from the ground up.
What a hero.
Tinkered with some extraterrestrial hybridized DNA to, be smarter, faster, stronger for soldiering abilities. Where I spent a little over 17 years in the MDF, which is the Mars Defense Force. I was in the infantry there on the ground, mostly scuffling with indigenous reptoids and indigenous insectoids territorially.
Wow.
Mostly really to test military equipment.
This guy's done it all.
There are a lot of interesting characters in the SSP/Super Soldier world, such as Dwight Eisenhower's great-granddaughter, Laura Magdalene Eisenhower.
What?
James Casbolt, a self-proclaimed former MI6 agent who's now in prison for trying to blackmail 2 million euros out of his Super Center heiress ex-wife, Haley Major. And Mark
Jesus
Richards,
Christ.
who's also in prison, not for blackmail this time, but instead for robbery and murder in the mid-1980s. He was also bizarrely plotting a paramilitary takeover of his county in order to turn it into King Arthur's court with himself as a king. Yeah, that's a thing.
This is amazing.
Within the community, these people are known as whistleblowers. Individuals who risk their lives to disclose sensitive information about their time in the secret space program. Initially, I was struck by how these so-called whistleblowers spoke with such earnestness while claiming to have lived out grand stories akin to Z-grade science fiction. And more strikingly was how many people seemed to believe them.
There is a secret space program which is funded by our taxes. We pay for our own enslavement. There are factions in space. They have anti-gravity propulsion system. Anything you can think of, time travel, manipulating consciousness, it's all real.
Thanks, Reese, a bunch.
When I first started looking to this community, I considered making a video about it, but I scrapped the idea fairly quickly. At the time, my idea was to make a video simply exploring the whistleblowers and the conspiracy theory.
Well, why not
but
become
I decided
one?
against it, as I was more in the mood to work on something more ambitious and grand. So I set it aside and worked on a handful of other projects instead. However, there was a part of me that kept thinking about it. I found myself watching SSP videos during my free time, reading articles and browsing their community's forums. Eventually, it became my favorite pastime, and it was something that I was doing every single day. And what really intrigued me about it was it just kept getting crazier and crazier. And that's how I found my new favorite YouTube channel, Super Soldier Talk, which is run by a guy named James Rink. He's been doing it for 13 years, and he's been a hardcore believer of it for even longer than that. I found myself really drawn to James, especially his demeanor. I don't mean to ridicule the guy, but I genuinely just find him amusing.
So I am a super soldier. I've been involved in the secret space program for at least 330 years. I say that
it looks great
with
for 330.
a lot of hesitation because some of these projects, they have time compression zones where you're outside of time and the time is going by a little bit slower than the rest of reality.
Exit Prime.
They
Solomon
use re-aging
Sumo
tech, different
and
cloning
Shrek.
bodies. There's different techniques on how they can re-age us and reuse us. I spent at least 75 years on Mars.
Anyway, James runs the most popular YouTube channel in the community. It consists of interviews he conducts with secret space program experiencers from around the world. The guests on James' show all claim to be victims of the secret space program. The roles that they were assigned to in the secret space program vary. Some are shapeshifters.
So today we have David Lotherington, who is an Akashic reader, healer, and telepath. And he also remembers being in a facility that trained his shapeshifting abilities, in which I was also a participant of. He recalls experiences
still
as a
shapeshift?
super soldier in Kruger and has done training missions with zombies and vampires.
Well, there was one kid.
There
that
were
turned
zombies
into
and
a turtle.
vampires
There
on
was
Mars?
another a female that
surely we could
turned
cure
into an eagle,
zombieism.
and that was used for surveillance. I myself was a blue wolf. There was another being that turned
Cyclone and
into
the
a cat.
Others are cyborgs and off-world medics.
Oh, I mean, I started
That's sweet. Thanks to the bits,
working
Liana.
on Mars.
And have a good
I
night,
was looking
Millie.
for bugs, they call them.
Thanks for your
Mostly
sub.
mantises. Mantises
Bean.
were really good at genetics, and they wanted like information from them and stuff like that.
Oh, not
Genetic
Bean.
information.
Ban, come on.
And there's even She-Hulks.
Both dolphins and hulks, we can go through walls, go through portals. We can echolocate, but some people call it bilocation.
I quickly realized that most of the people James interviews don't actually have any celebrity status within the secret space program community. They're nothing like Corey Good, who sells out venues for his talks. Instead, they are just average believers in the SSP conspiracy who somehow got connected with James and were subsequently invited onto his show. Upon realizing this, I started to formulate a plan. What if I made up a story about being in the secret space program?
Well, that's all they
James'
do.
show
Yeah.
and share it
See,
with his community.
That's easy.
And that's how I finally found an angle that compelled me enough to make a video about this topic. And the angle was to become a secret space program whistleblower myself.
Let's rock.
You don't join the SSP, swine.
So if my
You
goal
are
still sounds too
chosen.
vague to you, I set up a criteria for how I was going to accomplish it. A set of rules, if you will. 1. Make up a compelling story about my time in the secret space program, which has to follow the established lore of the conspiracy. 2. Get onto a major platform
Well,
within
just
the
say you're part of the
community as
Blue
a
Wolf
whistleblower and share my
shape-shifting crew.
experience. I developed
Easy.
this criteria after thinking what's required to become an SSP whistleblower. Obviously, evidence of being in the secret space program isn't necessary at all. All that's needed is a story which follows the lore, and, after that, I just have to appear on a major platform and share it. I decided that I would aim to appear on James's channel.
70K
Like I said, it's the most
subs.
popular YouTube channel in the community, and it's even had the illustrious Captain Randy Kramer on it twice. Unlike Captain Randy Kramer, or Corey Good, I was unlikely to get my own show on Gaia.com, so I settled for a more manageable, but still difficult task. To increase the difficulty, I chose not to use my own YouTube channel as a way to influence my way onto the show. Therefore, I needed to find a way to ingratiate myself with James, and hope that he decided to invite me on as a guest himself. Before I did that, I needed to create a compelling story.
Sivraj?
In order to craft my narrative, I began to study the plethora of interviews available on Jay's channel, as well as the SSP lore extensively.
Okay, open up your textbooks, It's time for me to start explaining the lore behind the secret space program. Now, I'm going to try and do this as fast as possible.
Exit Tier 1 C96C.
Okay, so it started right before World War II, when the Nazis were interested in mysticism.
Before World War II, the Nazis, who were interested in mysticism and alternative views, searched the planet for fantastical powers. They found Maria Orsek, a medium and leader of the Vril Society, who channeled Nordic and Draco reptilians who offered the Nazis the schematics behind anti-gravity technology and UFOs. The Draco reptilians told the Nazis about ancient alien technology hidden in Antarctica, and in 1938, the Nazis traveled there. With this newfound tech, the Nazis created the Die Glocke, aka the Bell, which was capable of space and time travel. In 1942, the Nazis were already in space. There they built a base on the dark side of the moon. And by 1950, the Nazis were on Mars. Despite having access to this advanced alien tech, the Germans still lost World War II because apparently the Germans who possessed the technology did not agree with Hitler's regime, so there was a split.
The new Schwabenlanders didn't want to support Hitler at the end of the war because they considered him in.
Let me catch up on the lore myself here at base 211. The new Schwabenlanders. Was that like a real division in the Nazi Germany, or is that just what the secret space program made up? The new Schwabenlanders. No evidence. Bro, we don't use the E word when we're talking about the secret space program. We just feel it. They have unlocked memories, dumbass. Evidence. Fuck. What are you? Huh? Some kind of science believer? Idiot.
Insane.
This guy has lived for 330 years on Mars. Okay, you don't understand.
The Nazis capable of space and time travel became the Fourth Reich.
You don't have the lived
experience.
experience.
In space while refusing to provide any support to the Third Reich Nazis during the war. Anyway, the evil globalists, i.e. the Cabal and the Illuminati or something, engaged in a Cold War against the Space Germans. Meanwhile, the Space Germans were also fighting the Draco reptilians and various alien life forms in space. The Antarctic/Space Germans would be responsible for abducting people to serve in joint black projects between themselves, the Cabal, aliens, and pretty much anybody with any power at all. This was the beginning of the secret space program. By the 1960s, the Space Germans created Notwaffen, aka Dark Fleet, and began an aggressive expansion out into the solar system, setting up
So is the
bases
entire
on
secret
moons
space
around
program
Saturn,
Nazis?
the Kuiper belts, and etc. Capable of time travel, the Space Germans also traveled back in time to settle on planets around the galaxy.
Now there's 3 billion people, humans that live off-world under various German SSP groups protected by the Notwaffen, translated.
Oh my god, so they're Nazis.
People who were forced into the
What? In their own lore, they made themselves Nazis? Why? So they're part of the new Schwabenlanders? Oh man, they're everywhere in the galaxy. Oh, they could even travel back 400 years in time. So they're protected by the Notwaffen. Okay. Interesting. Alright, give me 1 second. I'm gonna go say goodnight to Tiana. And then maybe interrogate her to see if she's part of the secret space program and she's lying to me. I'm back. These are tier 1 devil rides in the resub Axel.
Now there's 3 billion people, humans that live off-world under various German SSP groups protected by the Notwaffen, translated meaning Dark Fleet.
People who are forced into the secret space program are called MILABs, aka military abductees. These people are chosen because they are special and often because they are psychically
Well, of course
gifted in
they're
some way.
special.
Around 30% of MILABs are SSP
Everyone who
officers,
believes in
and
a
70%
conspiracy
of
is
them
special.
Are used as slaves.
Everyone wants to
Individuals
feel
are
unique.
abducted and could be used as just about anything in the SSP. Super soldiers, pilots, remote viewers, assassins, scientists, forced laborers, and even slaves. So, there you have it. That's a basic breakdown of the SSP lore. After spending months putting together my very own secret space program whistleblower testimony, I felt like I was ready to share it on James' show. The only problem was that he wasn't replying to any of my emails. But then I found an in. On his website was a page called My Lab Recovery Network, which was a list of people offering services to help recover secret space program related memories. At the top of the list was James. And for $200 USD, I could book a guided meditation regression session with him, which is exactly what I did at 6 a.m. on September 1st, 2021. Within 23 minutes, James got back to me with an email which read, "Hi Oki, I'm booked till the first week in October. Can I put you down for Tuesday, October 12 at an afternoon slot or evening time slot, EST zone? Which would you prefer?" By booking a hypnosis session with him, at least I had an in. It didn't mean that I would be invited onto his show, but it was a start. In order to ensure that I can get onto his show, I fine-tuned my story. I knew that my only option was to put on such a performance that it completely knocks him off of his feet. So for the next 41 days, I hunkered down and recited my script while polishing it all into something truly compelling. And finally, the day arrived. At 1 p.m. EST on October 12th, I got the Zoom call invite from James that I was waiting for. Our session lasted for 2 hours and 14 minutes. The results of the session exceeded my expectations.
I would be curious. What is your genetic background? Like what ET groups are you connected with?
Draco reptilian humanoid hybrid, and then I think I also got like Anunnaki.
Do you know who you might have been in a past life?
Have you heard like the Black Samurai Yasuke?
You were a samurai?
Yeah. Dude, hold on. I'll show you something. Check this out.
That's pretty dope. And I was a gladiator.
Oh no, that's awesome.
Oh wow.
The goal here, I want us.
You can learn a lot from James.
Let's put a gold shield of light around us. So at this point, we call upon Oki's higher self to override any kind of AI. Begin to relax your forehead and your cheeks, and you can breathe just fine in and out as the relaxation goes down into your legs. As you fly through the clouds, the puffy clouds, you may jump around a little bit. Your higher self already knows where to go, so go ahead. When you're ready, step on through the door, and without putting any kind of conscious thought into it, just imagine what do you think?
Imagine Oki just becomes a real believer.
So let's start with that, and tell me what you see.
I see Kevin Spacey, or his clone.
Paul Serene, he was on the governing council of the ICC. So his clone is Kevin Spacey.
We're in a gymnasium.
Wait, what? So wait, is that part of SSP lore? Kevin Spacey is like a figurehead in the secret space program? Oh, okay, so Monarch is responsible for human trafficking, sex, mind control, experiments, and chemtrailing. I knew it. Fucking Kevin Spacey was behind it all, that son of a bitch. Evil bastard, thought he got away with it. Didn't expect us to be hot on his trail. Luckily we broke away from Atlantis though, so we cut the connection. Okay. But Kevin Spacey himself is a clone of Paul.
We're in a gymnasium. It's me and at least 100 other. I think they're recruits.
Do you see anyone else there?
There's a
that
Prime
you
Scout and
recognize?
the Recent Hamster.
I think I see.
Oh, nice. Thanks for the rubber feet.
Mr. Beast.
Today we will be planting 20 million trees.
Okay, so they're probably programming him. But he's the guy that doesn't even give away a bunch of free stuff on the videos.
Yeah.
They must have looked into his future and okay, so whatever trajectory, whatever plans they had for him was all programming stuff.
Anyway, the session was a success. Such a success that I got what I wanted. James invited me onto his show. Then he mentioned that it would be a little while before he could have me on his show because he was going to attend a secret space program conference taking place in early November. Without a second thought, I said that I'd be there.
Do you want to come on my show to share some of your experiences?
Yeah, hell yeah. That'd be awesome.
If you're coming out to Vegas, I could, maybe give you 45 minutes
So a few days later, I traveled to Las Vegas and landed at around 12 p.m. after a 4-hour plane ride.
Man, he went all in for this video.
I'm here.
Traveled fucking 5,000 miles for a 45-minute interview.
Disclosure 5D events, specifically to meet some super soldiers. People who are part of this,
Easy tier 1
they're part of the
Juggalo.
secret space program. This has been months in the making. Okay, this is gonna be fun, dude. I am so excited for this. Are you ready, Night Talks?
I'm as ready as I am gonna be, man. This is gonna be an exercise in patience for me.
No, this is gonna be an eye-opening experience for everyone. We're all gonna leave here thinking we're super soldiers from space.
Golden Nugget. Right here. Nugget, here we are.
Hell yeah.
I guess we're gonna go learn how to become stronger through genetics.
And experience this up on the starship.
Is he the only one here?
Times. I spoke with the commander, the Arcturian commander, who I am connected to.
That's how we connect? Okay, hey. No, I understand it now.
They flew us to a separate base. We left this base and we went to a separate one on the moon. And it was U.S. military personnel. And the next morning they gave us a set of clothes to wear and put us on a larger craft and flew us to Mars. Flew out, we got away from the moon and
Exit Prime Wabbajack
jumped to Mars.
The bits
yes,
SSJ.
I was talking about this concert, this Travis Scott concert, where 800 people were injected with these drone mosquitoes. You know, you see that, wow, they can go around.
So that's
and
what
inject
happened.
People.
Jesus Christ. It is... Whoops. It is so hard to believe that people like that exist, man. Not only exist, but have other people that believe them. Like, they have influence over other people. That's fucking wild. Think about that for a second. I've said this a million times. No matter how stupid you are or how outrageous your beliefs, you will always have an audience thanks to the internet. You will always find people that agree with you, support you, worship you, or just at the very least provide camaraderie in a positive echo chamber because you are connected to everyone at all times through Twitter and Facebook. So that guy who thinks at the Travis Scott concert 800 people were injected with, what was it? Some super space mosquitoes or whatever. He's got 100 other people in his Facebook group that all think the same thing. Wild.
The conference was a pretty fun but disorganized event.
Thanks
The
to
two
some
workshops we were
heavy-
really looking forward to attending were
Zango.
How to Become a Jedi Warrior and Quantum Spoon
yeah,
Bending,
RT.
Bring Your Own Spoon.
Tomorrow's gonna be a fun day because tomorrow we get to go to How to Become a Jedi Warrior.
I'm excited about that one.
That should be,
That's gonna
yeah,
be
that should be
amazing.
productive.
Unfortunately, when we showed up to the How to Become a Jedi Warrior workshop, no one was there, not even the speaker, so it was canceled.
We just got in here. We have no idea.
Oh man, what the fuck? Well, they're too busy having sex, I
Yeah,
bet.
just gave up.
On Mars.
So the best part tomorrow is we are gonna go to Quantum Spoon Bending, parentheses, Bring Your Own Spoons, close parentheses.
And the quantum spoon bending lesson was underwhelming since, instead of learning how to bend a spoon with our minds, we were instructed to physically do it with both hands.
What the fuck? It's real! Oh my god.
But the conference was secondary to my ultimate goal, which was to meet James so he can interview me for his channel. It was during a workshop called My Life in the Secret Space Program that I finally got to meet him. Honestly, I felt sort of starstruck. I asked him to sign my copy of his book, and we talked for a bit before the workshop started. While walking around the venue, I noticed that James had sent me a text inviting me to his hotel room for an interview. Suddenly, a wave of anticipation and euphoria washed over me. this was it. Finally, after several months,
He ends up getting like Harvey
I
Weinsteined by James.
ran back to the workshop room, found Night Docs, and alerted him of the new development. We scrambled to get all of his equipment ready to film the interview and to get to Jay's hotel room as soon as possible.
Night Docs, go with him. Keep him safe.
Therefore, being late
Oh
was
my
not an
god.
option. Night Docs, who was behind me, was still trying to
The
attach
super
his
soldier's
camera to a
unpredictable.
gimbal, which would not fit. Watching the minutes go by was excruciating. Eventually, I told him to leave the camera unattached from the gimbal, and we raced towards the elevator, getting lost a couple times along the way. After an elevator ride that felt way longer than it should have, we rushed towards James' hotel room before realizing that we walked in the wrong direction once again. Then we beelined it in the
No,
opposite
James is gonna
direction,
leave!
and finally found James' room. I knocked. The time had finally come.
Oh! James.
James had his camera equipment set up in the corner of the hotel room. He instructed me to take a seat in front of his camera and microphone. I asked him if it was okay if Night Docs filmed the interview, and he said it was fine. After a brief preliminary discussion, James started recording and we were underway. By then, any nervous anticipation I felt leading up to this face-to-face sit-down had completely dissipated.
Yeah, you just get to come in here
knowing
and
that I was more than
make
prepared
some
to
shit
speak
up.
about my time in the secret
Have some
space
fun.
program in a convincing manner. The interview lasted 1 hour, and here's what happened.
Okay, so my name is Oki. So it started from before I was even born, where they genetically enhanced my DNA. And by the time I was 6, I was put into a special program run by Monarch. I was under direct tutelage of Paul Serene, Kevin Spacey's clone. There was 12 children.
Oh my god. Luckily, James didn't pick up on that. He just got the lore wrong. Paul Serene is not the clone of Kevin Spacey, Oki. Kevin Spacey is the clone of Paul Serene. Oh my god, the whole operation just went tits up. There's no way James didn't just... Oh my god, there's no way James didn't pick up on that. Oh my god. He blew it. He fucking blew it. SSP's on his tail now.
Who were trained
He's hunted.
directly
He's a
under
hunted
him,
man.
including myself and the YouTuber Mr. Beast.
So, can you comment about what you, or maybe Mr. Beast, or maybe the people in your group were all being groomed for?
We were pretty much put in a top elite special program. They pretty much
He's a prime skunk.
utilized every method they could to use MK Ultra programming and to create killing machines. And I was able to just look at a photo of a target and make their head explode. Because I mean, there was billions of dollars spent on each and every single one of us. I particularly liked
That sounds like Kevin Spacey's research.
I liked my my 2 daggers. I had a form of EMP that I could take out there.
He's a Reddit assassin.
In my past life, I was
on Mars.
Yasuke, the Black Samurai.
Did any of your clones ever get changed into a zombie?
I had a clone.
I like how that's one of James' core questions. Have any of your clones been changed into a zombie? James makes it sound like he doesn't even know what the fuck a zombie is. He makes it sound like it's a state of mind. The clones would have to die first, James, and then Kevin Spacey and Paul Serene would have to do a fusion dance in order to bring out the proper necromancy on Mars at the Knockwaffen to revive them, for them to be zombies, James. Jesus Christ. He's getting lost in his own sauce. He's not even following his own rules in the secret space program.
That clone actually was fighting zombies and vampires. And there was also Yetis that they were fighting.
What about vampires? Do you recall any scenarios fighting vampires?
He just said that, James.
This particular thing.
He's killed 1,000 of them with his bare hands.
Is that they can't help but count. From what I remember, most clearly is that I do have many different clones of myself with parts of my consciousness uploaded into those clones. I was taken, I was cloned, and my clones with my consciousness inside of them were used pretty much as like kamikaze pilots.
Typically, at least what I heard, black people require a different protocol of brainwashing.
Time flew by, and I was
That's,
struck by the effortlessness
the super soldier is many things, but a coward he is not. He will ask the hard-hitting questions. He will go where no other space program super soldiers will.
Story which I crafted. I spoke for 1 hour.
He actually
with ease
fucking
and
said
told my
that.
story so coherently that I realized that if I was to continue to pursue a career as an influencer in the SSP community, I'd be able to become a prominent whistleblower. I could do workshops, sell books, charge for hypnosis sessions, be invited onto shows, and attend conferences as a speaker, just like the top members of the community. I would be able to mold a career out of it, which likely could be far more profitable than spending months making YouTube documentaries and releasing them only a few times a year. When I first became interested in the community and its major players, I wondered how these people could regurgitate their own bullshit with such ease, as if their lies didn't affect them at all. Were they deluded, or were they capitalizing on feeding lies
These are
to
real
a fantasy
memories.
prone audience? And when I was being interviewed by James, I finally understood it. What you believe becomes your own reality, no matter how ridiculous it is. Spewing the nonsense story I crafted was like an out-of-body experience. I was playing a role. And even though I created the role, while I was performing it, it was like a switch in my brain went off and everything I said felt real.
That's 100% true. That's how it works.
Speak matter-of-factly about
That's why these
being
communities
trained by Kevin
exist.
Spacey's clone along with Mr. Beast. I never broke character. I never felt like laughing or winking at the camera. I spoke stone-faced with deadly seriousness the whole time. It was so easy to detach myself from the situation and make it feel real. Overall, this whole journey has been a fascinating
big shooter and slider.
I now feel as though many of the questions I had about charlatans, grifters, con men, and even cult leaders, it's starting to make more sense. By stepping into their shoes, I feel like I gained insight into how they operate and what makes them tick. Like I said, if I wanted to, I could have continued to masquerade as a secret space program whistleblower and turn my lies into something truly profitable. Of course,
you should have.
I
Still
have
can.
no interest in doing so.
He still could. It's not like they're gonna watch this video. They just exist on their own little pocket of the internet.
They enhanced my DNA, and they took the DNA from my father and they put it in my mother, and they were keeping tabs on me. By the time I was 6, I was put into a special program run by Monarch. The leader of Monarch, Paul Serene, also known as Kevin Spacey's clone.
So on December 28th, 2021, James finally uploaded the interview we did in Las Vegas onto his YouTube channel. As I record this, the video is sitting around 13,000 views. The response from his community has been overwhelmingly positive. People left comments that indicate that they completely believed me. A couple people said that I was the best whistleblower testimony that they've heard on James's channel so far. And one person even said that they cried the whole way through the video. So that's that.
Oh my god. Hold on, I want to read that. I'm so sorry you had to do that. Thank you for your bravery. Oh man. God, like, to a certain extent, I feel bad for them. Not in particular the secret space program, like them too, but in general, people that truly believe these things, like wholeheartedly separate themselves from reality to exist in this new made-up world. It is sad to a certain level, but they're their own worst enemy in that case. They at any point can just choose not to think that the Nazis created a secret space program that's been in the galaxy habitat, or what the fuck, now I'm lost. What was it? The Nazis split off from the world in order to exist in Mars, and they took over Cedarus, Uranus, Siblius for 400 years and started abducting people here for more fuck, forgot a lot of it now. It's been so much lore. Either way, you could leave that world where the Nazis control space and just go back to reality.
Through the video. So that's that. I made up a story and officially got it to James's channel. I can now officially call myself a secret space program whistleblower, an elite among elites, a space samurai, MK Ultra victim who was trained by Kevin Spacey's clone to become a killing machine. If you want to watch the full interview I had with Jay as well as our hypnosis session, please subscribe to my Patreon. Otherwise, follow me on social media. I have Twitter, which I'm the most active on.
God, this was so
Instagram,
good.
And a subreddit. All links could be found in the description box below. And as always, until next time. That's all you need to know now.
That was so fucking good. Yeah, apparently this got deleted, which I absolutely imagined it would. He'd have to. And he'll probably address this as well. At some point. Goddamn shame. They loved Oki. Thanks to the bits Rogue and the Prime Keith. God, that was amazing. This is criminally underrated for the work that went into this. Dude flew out from Canada to Las Vegas to a secret space program meeting in order to have an interview with the #1 figure in secret space program super soldier lore. The 330-year-old ass-beating, ass-eating super Goliath James. Like that is what it's all about, baby. Thanks for the 5 gift subs, Night Docs. I appreciate that. And the tier 1, thank you for that. And great work. Appreciate the generosity. I want to look more into this group on my own time now. The Secret Space Program. I wonder how big they are. I wonder if I can find any numbers. They're definitely not that big. They don't even pop up when you look at Secret Space Program on Google. Usually you can type in any conspiracy group and immediately find something about them. I'm actually going to have to type in Kevin Spacey, maybe. This will be my gateway. Nope. I just got movies. And then I got Oki's video. And then Kevin Spacey's sexual assault. Thank you for the 10 gift subs again, Lawborg. Appreciate the generosity. James addresses it on his website. Let's see. Okay. Well, that didn't work at all. I want to read this. Yeah, he just addressed this yesterday. YouTuber Oki Day lies about being in the SSP. He came to me for help, had a regression, but lied and made up a huge story. Yeah, James, what do you think everyone in the SSP community does? It's just fun little fanfic without the porn. How do I read his post? Does it not work? Do I have to be in the SSP? I have to go through a hypnosis regression therapy session with James in order to unlock my mind to read it? Thank you. That time it worked. I didn't get the 404. Well, that wasn't very insightful. Thanks for resub Story Eater and Saki and the gift sub Mouse Bomb. No, we're not doing like Cult Night or anything. I can't read it. He's basically just saying he doesn't have permission to share the... Oh yeah, I see you can't read that at all on stream, sorry. He's just saying you didn't have permission to post the interview or the hypnosis session. That's it. Though he does say we don't know if you're lying or not. So please stop lying to us. That's kind of sad. Yeah. Alright, that was fucking interesting. I love shit like that. I absolutely love it. And you know what I like most about it? It's harmless. They're not hurting anyone by believing that they're Mars soldier veterans who have been biologically enhanced by hybridization with reptilians, vampires, and space zombies. Them thinking that and sharing their creative writing pieces with one another, that doesn't hurt anyone. It's just a bunch of dudes and some ladies occasionally talking about space, sex, and war and drugs or whatever. Like, that's great. Harmless conspiracy. I love it. Love it. Have you seen the crazy story behind Low Tier God? Yeah, of course, I know all the LTG stuff. They do identify as space Nazis, though. Yeah, like I said, it's a little weird that they chose the Nazis to be the ones that they are a part of. That's concerning. I don't really know why they do that, but like excluding the whole Nazi angle of the secret space program lore, it's harmless. They made the plot for the next Wolfenstein game. Yeah, kinda. Thanks for the gift sub CJ and the gift sub Buffalo. Hey Buffalo. Someone recommended that before Blue Soul. I'm not gonna watch it tonight though. I'm actually getting tired. I think I'm just gonna call it a night. We're not gonna find something as interesting as that for the rest of the stream, so I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm getting tired anyway. Thanks everyone for tuning in. To everyone who donated, big thank you. New subs, welcome aboard. Sub means a lot to me, so thank you for subbing. I appreciate the generosity. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening and a happy new year. I'll throw you to... Who haven't I thrown you to in a while? Oh, here, I'll throw you to Edgar. He doesn't stream that much. So I'll toss you over to him. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great night. See you tomorrow. Thanks to the resub, B-Town and Tier 1 Tristan. Alright, I'll take chat's word for it. We'll watch the new Nexpo vid. I do like the channel.
Wayne Kernigan was stuck at home during an excruciatingly long winter. He was what his parents believed to be a problem child, experiencing nightmares, arguing with his 7 siblings, and getting in trouble at school. Having gone on record to state that his father beats him with hockey sticks, it was undeniable that their humble abode in suburban Connecticut was less of a place of refuge for him. The man on the phone says that Wayne should come right away, and that they'll have a private jet waiting for him at Danbury Airport.
What a good deal.
His mom tells him not to worry,
wow,
and that it's more of an outdoor camp type thing that'll make him better. So Wayne packed up his stuff that night. Eager, sure. Nervous, yes. But absolutely awaiting the things to come. Inquire on why he was sent there.
Who made this vid? It's Nexpo.
Drugs.
I keep seeing this one's fucked up.
When Wayne began to question whether he was going to the place he thought he was.
Cults are known to be pretty cool.
Didn't seem right. Looks like a camp, he thinks. However, when he exits the vehicle, he isn't greeted with the silent serenity of nature. But instead, the screaming.
Yeah, but that could mean anything. I scream when I'm having a lot of fun. Like, yeehaw, we're having fun. Yeah, I saw the American Horror Story cult season. American Horror Story is the best shitty show.
Across the United States, a rise in for-profit behavior modification facilities were in action. Now called the troubled teen or tough love industry, it seemed to be a money machine aimed at altering and stifling troublesome behavior in adolescents.
Well, someone's got to.
It's hard to gauge, given that this was the decade following the rise of the hippie subculture. Authority was and had been challenged for years.
That facial hair is kind of nutty. That looks cool. It's like Wolverine, but not cool like Wolverines. It's like a little cushion. That's nice. That's like an OG neckbeard.
In early 1970, a psychiatrist named Gerald Davidson, alongside investor David Goldberg and a man named Joseph Ritchie, would band together to create a school named Elan, a private co-ed behavior modification program geared from grade 8 to beyond high school. Ritchie billed the facility as one that would correct bad behavior by teens without punishment, while painting himself as a genuine mentor that could help make that happen.
They had a website?
33 have gone on record to state that their initial, outside impression of the school was that it was like a summer camp in the Maine woods. However,
looks like a summer camp.
Furthermore, some have stated
it does look
that
like Crystal Lake.
The vehicle expecting a lively campground. They're instead faced with a sight much stranger. Some students were spotted wearing degrading signs. Some shackled in handcuffs.
What?
Some being yelled at. Point.
They take discipline very seriously.
To flee. School was marketed, touting itself as an altruistic institution genuinely concerned with helping troubled teenagers get better. It was clear from the outside that those claims were a reach.
Is that Charles Manson teaching the class?
But
man, they got celebrities, teachers. Good for them.
Observe the vernacular.
So this is pretty recent.
To each parent. Dear parents, we're very aware of how lonely and confused you must feel as you sit down to read this. If you're like the parents of most of our students, you're faced with an adolescent whose behavior is out of control and you don't know why. A youngster who's been given everything and is throwing it all away is difficult to understand, but you can see that this process is progressive. The most saddening part is knowing that your offspring is ruining his or her future. Your own pain is difficult, but your pain for your child is unbearable.
Yeah, they're not reaching their full potential.
It's been noted that Joseph Ritchie was somewhat of a salesman. He was charismatic and excelled at convincing parents of all the good that Elan could do for their kids. The good that, as we'll soon find, was all a lie. Reportedly, once your parents agreed to send you off to Elan and pay the $50,000 tuition fee, they designated time and date with Elan's so-called teen escort service. They wouldn't pick you up during the day, though. Instead, in the middle of the night when you're fast asleep, they would bust through your door and kidnap you.
Why?
In years past, Elan's staff have stated that since the child has no say in attending, their capture hinges on the element of surprise.
Okay.
According to a blog,
so are these just stories? What?
Physically subduing them.
Are these just stories this guy makes up? What? No, what? Is all you read creepypastas? Why would he make up a 52-minute story and make websites to corroborate it and evidence and stuff? It's just like a history lesson that's well presented.
Tying them up with plastic handcuffs, throwing them into a van, and then driving them to Poland, Maine, where they'd be handed over to the Elan school. Such experiences often traumatized the teens who were abducted. For all they knew at first, they were being taken by criminals to be held ransom, tortured, or worse, killed. This practice became notorious around the United States, eventually earning its nickname, the Elan Snatch.
So this was so well known that it had its own name?
Morality wasn't the school's strong suit.
The 70s, man? What are you talking about? This was in 2000. They have a fucking website. Had a website.
Day 1. Students would typically arrive to Elan during the early morning hours of the day.
Oh, it started in the 70s. Oh, gotcha. I see what you're saying.
To resist their escorts.
I see what you're saying, sorry.
It's been noted that their capture was designed this way, utilizing their escape attempt against them as a tool to convey that no matter what, they're not getting out of there. Often, the first stop would be the dormitory showers, which served as a tool in robbing each student of their sense of individuality. Reportedly, students are thrown into them with absolutely no privacy and are demanded to remove all of their clothing and valuable items. After complying, they're given what Elan calls no-image clothing, which, as the name implies, simply includes a bland, colorless shirt and pants, effectively forcing them into a state of conformity.
Well, let's not get carried away. A white t-shirt's pretty cool.
Each student would be taken into a common area where there
I wouldn't necessarily look too deep into that.
This, in essence, was a tenured student designated to be a guide. On paper, they were told to help their students adjust to their new life on campus, somewhat like a peer, while educating them on how great and effective the program is. As we've seen in studies like the Stanford prison experiment, I'm sure you can see why this would be a bad idea.
I don't know that experiment.
Oftentimes, Big Brother figures, much like staff, would take great pleasure in exerting their superiority over the newer students.
Looks like the house from Promised Neverland.
If you want to act like a baby, you get screamed at. If you want to act as more like a mature adolescent, you get talked to.
Oh, so I was like, wait, what?
Speaking of cults.
Was that footage from Elon University? Is it Elon or Elan? I don't know how to say it. Either way. But didn't he just say that they were forced to wear, like, the colorless shirts? Because that guy, like, that second guy, he's kind of dripped out. He's got a chain on. He's got a red button up. Oh, that was staff. Gotcha.
The social hierarchy at Elon is structured in a way that heavily resembles one. At the school, students are immediately placed into two categories. Strengths, which were tenured, obedient students that were a few steps up the totem pole, and non-strengths, the newer ones who typically resisted treatment. Strengths were allowed to talk to fellow strengths and non-strengths. Non-strengths, on the other hand, were only permitted to communicate with strengths. If a non-strength were caught communicating with a non-strength, harsh punishment would soon greet them. They were quickly disconnected, reprimanded, and robbed of any future potential.
So if this is supposed to be a scam,
again,
I feel like this is a lot more effort than just not
on top of the phone manipulation,
doing this.
Every Elon resident was required
it seems like
to
so
write
much more
what the
work
school
to abuse
calls
the
a guilt
kids.
letter, which, as you might expect, is an explanation of how great the Elon school is for them, all the great activities they do there, and how well they're progressing through the program. These letters would be heavily scrutinized before being mailed out to their parents. In most
I get that it's a cult,
verbally
but usually
tortured
cults have a
with the pleasure
purpose.
of the Elon school staff. It was clear to students that they weren't getting away from this anytime soon. And after realizing this, their minds would often pivot away from rebellion and towards compliance in hopes of power.
Yeah, money. That's why I would think they'd want to run a scam as opposed to a cult. And it'd be so much easier to not abuse the kids. It takes a lot more work to do that, I imagine.
To make their escape.
So I'm assuming there is a point to the cult, like they want to turn these kids into like super soldiers or something, I don't really know. But if it was just a scam, they're putting a lot of work into it. Whereas they could just take the kids here for $50K a year and just let them play basketball and sleep.
The Elon school were immense. Exerting nearly totalitarian control over everything that happens, Joe Ritchie's set of rules, which he called guilt, was gargantuan and needlessly meticulous.
Maybe tier 1 Wheeloo.
As a student at Elon, you would be expected to refrain from doing the following. Having any image, reading as a non-strength, not completing learning experiences, writing without permission, being sideways, looking at security zones, non-strength interacting, talking too loudly, talking too softly, looking at the opposite gender, being attracted to someone, any physical contact, looking out windows, unauthorized drawing, not listening to higher ranks, pretending to sleep at night, thinking of running away, being in the bathroom for too long, wearing dark clothing, being manipulative, being lazy while working, listening to music, talking too much, showering for
all in all, they're pretty lenient.
Not talking enough, making facial reactions to orders, negative body language, pretending not to have guilt, oversleeping, undersleeping, smiling, and the list goes on and on.
That's not bad.
Clearly, these rules were not designed to be followed.
Basically a lawless place over there.
To become commonplace. To help enforce these,
Integra
individuals known
and
as
Razzle-Dazzle.
expediters were designated by the school to stand on watch with clipboards. Primarily, they were known to catch those that broke 3 rules: being attracted to members of the opposite gender, looking at the opposite gender, and making prolonged eye contact with anyone else. Since expediters too were required to fill their clipboards with names and infractions at the risk of their own punishment, they frequently and unapologetically made assumptions and accusations that were a lie. And the requirement to wear a bright yellow t-shirt and short pink shorts. The school figured that without laces, their shoes were effectively useless, in turn preventing any ability to move any faster than a walk.
What is it, like barbed wire on the ground or something?
Risk punishment
just go barefoot.
is shown with this student. Instead of a t-shirt and shorts though, he was forced to wear a bright pink rabbit suit with cuffs around his legs. It's unclear if this is a repeat offender, but it raises the question as to how far Alon would actually go with this tactic.
Thanks, the Resub Hunter.
Students that smiled at a place were punished by wearing dunce caps and reduced to work that the school calls shot down. These involved repetitious, dull tasks like mopping floors, scrubbing the insides of trash cans, and even cleaning toilets with just a single toothbrush.
Man, if I went to one of these fucking schools, if my parents sent me here, I would never forgive them.
It's been noted that approval by sometimes 6 or more superiors was required before you were able. And even then, an escort had to watch you while you were in there. This, on top of a myriad of other degrading punishments, like humiliating sign and diaper wearing. It's clear that Alon kept an iron grip on their daily operations. Their daily operations that took up most of the daily schedule, and those that were deceptively named by the Alon school themselves as their treatment.
Makes it a bit savage. Give some Ethan.
But I will say, all of these punishments are relatively tame compared to what we're about to talk about. Let's just say, if you pissed off a staff member, they could start something called a general meeting on you. And trust me, you wouldn't want one.
That doesn't sound so intense. Well, we're just gonna debate, huh?
There seemed to be no standard for them. Get your feelings off, the administrator screams. And following this, each student in the room would begin screaming at and berating the student, firing off slurs and obscenities.
Oh, so it's like Twitter.
No matter how much
pretty innovative
for everyone to stop, no matter how much they broke down, no matter how much they cried, general meetings would not end until the admin said so. And when it finally did, the victim would lie there, often crying and exhausted at the relentless abuse that they'd just endured. It's clear that general meetings aren't designed to reprimand. They're designed to completely break each and every student that's the subject of one. And with this, we can effectively put the points together that Alon was doing nothing more than running an operation that commanded total compliance. Any self-thought or sliver of independence that students thought they had was gone. They were merely reduced to weapons. Weapons that, at a moment's notice, could just as easily be used against them. "7 p.m.
Are they also haunted by vampires or something too? Like, how much worse can it get? Fucking werewolves or something?
On academia and outside marketing, school time within Alon was secondhand to the students' treatment. Typically, the time frame for learning was 7 to 11 p.m., but sometimes could run longer. As you might expect, there were no extracurriculars, no physical education,
Squish
no
in the resub
projects,
Kuckaroo, Zero,
no
and
legitimate
Gengar.
exams, nothing. Instead, students were required to grade themselves on work that they were self-assigned with absolutely no direction. Allegedly, he believed students were easier to control while sleep-deprived and utilized even this as a medium to work against them. By 11 p.m., if a student makes it through a night of work without issue, school hours then draw to a close.
Not bad.
They're quickly released from class and escorted to their dorms, which were often in the form of uncomfortable, impersonal, military-style bunk beds.
That's military style? A piece of wood?
Sleep was known to be difficult, as designated students named night owls were assigned to stand guard with flashlights. In regular intervals, they'd shine them on the sleeping students to both ensure that they hadn't escaped and to secure the fact that they're actually asleep.
What?
A requirement that, as we can recall, was also in the list of Alon's rules. And if one actually manages to calm their nerves, dozing off into their only time of tranquility, that would allow them to effectively place the cap on a day in the nightmare.
I just want to see if, like, the main guy behind it's still alive, but I don't want it to be a spoiler either. His name was, like, Joe something, and I forgot, so I'm trying to find it. It says, I don't think it's Joe Rogan, but it keeps wanting me to type in Joe Rogan. It was like Joe something. Richie, that's what it was. He's dead. Damn.
notorious aspect of Elan, among everything else that happened there, was something called the Ring. Considered the highest level of punishment, Elan staff could make the call to start the Ring at any time. Enough for a specific student.
Oh, I gave them safety equipment.
In the Ring, a student's designated as a bully and is outfitted with a face guard and gloves. No one was safe from the Ring either. Some bore pre-existing injuries, some were much smaller than their opponent, and some were even pregnant.
Wait, what?
Even worse, things seemed to be treated like a game, with superiors commentating.
This is only up to high school.
TV. In reality,
how are
this was the furthest.
Wait, I'm super curious then. So how were some of them pregnant? Because you're not even allowed to look at the opposite gender, and assuming that you lived here for a year, how would you get pregnant? That makes no sense to me. I guess if they could have arrived pregnant, which would check out. Staff? Oh, I see what you're saying, by the staff. Right. Thanks to the prime material. I keep forgetting that there's actual adults behind this, because it looks like, it sounds like they literally only appoint the students to do everything here. It's like Lord of the Flies.
This thing from TV.
It costs $17,400 to send the average youngster to Elan for 1 year. Even at that price, there are judges, social workers, and parents who consider it a bargain. Elan's defenders claim it has the most consistently effective program for salvaging young people who are too difficult for other facilities to handle.
It's administered by the kids, first of all. Corporal, it's a harsh term. Okay, what it is we have the Ring, okay, which
well, he's super open about it.
It's not a boxing ring, it's a ring of human people. The bully is introduced as what he is. In this corner is the bully who's trying to turn this facility into a detention center, okay? And in this corner is the house champion who's going to show him why it can't be done. And that's exactly how it does. And we never allow the bully to win.
But girls get put in the ring, too.
Well, girls bully as well as boys do. I mean, you know, you know, we're a equal rights facility.
Oh, that's progressive, okay.
Spanking, which is symbolic. Again, it's a last resort. Okay, wow. and it's one resident spanking another resident, and it's done with a ping pong paddle. Okay, and usually a person won't get spanked more than once or twice, but it's a symbolic thing, which is if you're going to act like a baby, you should be treated like a baby.
On December
so he is just super open about it.
A 15-year-old Elan student named Philip Williams was placed into the ring. And so, that evening, a ring session commenced with Phil as the bully. There was fight after fight after fight. In the end, it's been reported that he was beaten up so badly that he fell flat on the floor, and it took an entire 20 minutes before an ambulance was called to help him. 20 minutes or so they called the ambulance. They took Phil and they never saw him again. His sister claims, "I thought it was a wonderful place. I thought they were helping my brother. I thought he was coming home."
Like, how can you think that when they actually kidnapped him?
In a box.
Like, I don't get that delusion.
Elan's
Their technique was to kidnap them.
That he had regularly faked headaches. The cause of death? A brain aneurysm. And no charges were ever filed against them. Yeah. That cult is one by the name of Synanon.
Never heard of it, and I know a lot of cults.
County with a warrant to investigate reports of child abuse.
In recent years, Synanon began calling itself a religion.
He's 52 years old. He's deaf in one ear. He's an egomaniac. But one of the wisest persons that I've ever met in my life.
He knows how to get people moving. He creates turbulence.
Gentlemen,
Thanks to Prime Bone Scope.
No member of the California Department of Corrections is permitted on Synanon property unless he has the express permission of Charles D.
Very cool spectacles. What is he, a fighter pilot?
In early 1958, a man by the name of Charles Dedrick Sr. would found the group in Santa Monica, California. It was intended to be a drug rehabilitation program aimed at delinquents. However, in the years that followed, it appeared to stray from that mission entirely. The distinguishing form of therapy employed by Synanon was something called the game, which in today's terms is more commonly known as attack therapy. The focus of the game was to break down the social construct of an individual's mind by first allowing them to open up about themselves before commencing an aggressive beratement session, much like we discussed earlier with general meetings. The primary goal was to recreate someone's personality and sense of self by completely demolishing everything they know about themselves before rebuilding them as a newer, subjectively better person. It hinged on the brink of legality while being entirely immoral. And, unsurprisingly, by 1991, the cult would disband due to criminal convictions that caught up to many of their members. The founder also died just 6 years later, leaving behind a dark legacy that, to this day, is known as one of the most dangerous and violent cults that America has ever seen.
That's weird. I've never heard of them.
This is, of course, the abridged history. To be honest with you, I could make an entire hour-long video on the operations and practices of Synanon.
Oh, they look like they're having fun.
For another day. If there's one takeaway tonight, though, it's that it unknowingly serves as inspiration and blueprint for other institutions to follow. One of those being Elan, and by utilizing similar practices, they appeared to carry the torch that Synanon was forced to abandon. They knew they had to keep up appearances too, thriving off an immaculate public image spearheaded by the charisma of Joe Ritchie. Before the age of the internet, admittedly this was easy.
Built with prime pink. Why didn't they fight back? Brother kids. What do you mean?
Through the late 70s and into the early 80s, reports of the true nature of Elan began to spread by word of mouth from former students. Authorities in Maine reportedly visited the school upwards of 12 times to investigate, however returned with absolutely nothing to show for it. Frustratingly, the operation that Joe Ritchie was running was completely and entirely legal. There were no laws in place for facilities like this, so it was allowed to remain in operation without issue. As we touched on, the media was the primary in for outsiders at Elan. However, even they failed to communicate the extent of their operations. While they showed select parts of it, unfortunately Joe Ritchie was given enough airtime to convince the public and the news crew that it was nothing more than their treatment taking place. By dehumanizing the students, emphasizing their delinquencies on national television, he was able to use this notoriety to his advantage, ultimately swaying the public opinion into believing that what he was doing was entirely good. On top of the growing number of alumni, though, came an increase in escapees, which only furthered Elan's unwanted infamy. Over the years, 3 students, a 16-year-old unidentified individual, a 15-year-old Brad Glickman, and a 17-year-old Don Birnbaum would all escape successfully, however would meet wildly differing fates. For the 16-year-old, it's been reported that he ran over 15 miles through the wilderness in the middle of the night. He was eventually caught by an officer, Max Ashburn, and after hearing the boy's story and observing his physical condition, he helped him return home.
What a good guy!
For Brad Glickman, he was shot. In 1990, after escaping Elan's search parties, he made his way to a house in a small town. Authorities believed that he had a connection to the girl that lived there. However, the homeowner opened fire, ultimately killing him.
What? What? That's like the most American shit I've ever heard in my life. This guy must know my daughter. Like, what? Jesus Christ. Actually, 2 gift subs Kill Command and the resub Terra in Tier 1 Summer.
And for Don Birnbaum,
how unlucky,
too had escaped the clutches of Elan, eventually finding a trucker named James Cruz who was willing to take her home. A few hours down the road, though, Birnbaum would find that Cruz's true intentions weren't quite so virtuous.
Oh, Jesus.
As it turned out, he sexually assaulted her on the side of the highway before strangling and abandoning her body between routes 26 and 550 in Pennsylvania. She was discovered by another motorist with a yellow rope tied around her neck and without clothes from the waist down. and from her corpse were tire tracks resembling that of a semi-trailer. Since Birnbaum had crossed state lines, an FBI investigation was commenced for her, and after cross-checking with numerous similar cases that have happened in the area, the truck belonging to James Cruz was deemed as the culprit. Upon catching up to him and searching his vehicle, authorities were able to find but a single blonde hair that belonged to Birnbaum, effectively leading to his arrest.
That's incredible detective work. Like, just think about that for a second. This is in the middle of fucking nowhere. Random trucker picks up a random student, well, student's the wrong word, random person from a cult, and they somehow tracked it down to the right guy who did it. That is incredible.
What's incredible?
Just the detective work here. There's a tier 1 pack. And the resub Juke and the Prime Scary Man, and the resub Genius and Virgin Shadow. What?
A cult in a boarding school?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. What are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing? Just watching One Piece.
Okay, well, have fun.
I'm not even playing any games right now.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, you're in a good arc. You're having fun.
It's a really good arc. It really is.
Thanks to resub Side Jellyfish.
Hi, chat. I'm seeing all the hellos, but I can't read too much past that because my glasses are not on. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to that.
Okay, well, have fun.
Much to the school's displeasure, these cases successfully gained ample attention. Joe Ritchie resultingly paid off numerous judges and journalists in hopes of drowning out the negative press.
Thanks to Prime Proximity.
However, outsiders were beginning to catch on that these students were running for a reason.
Quick text message.
But why?
There we go. Okay. All good. Thanks to the resub Adventure Creature Mumbling Plot in the Prime
30th, 1975. A 15-year-old girl named Martha Moxley was out with her friends participating in what they call Mischief Night. This typically involved TPing houses, ding-dong ditching, typical teenager antics. Later that night, Moxley found a liking to a Thomas Skakel, eventually kissing him before the pair decided to venture off. To the other friends in their group, seeing Moxley fall over the Skakel's backyard fence with Thomas was the very last time that they would ever see her alive. The next morning, the Moxley family awakens as usual. They go about their morning routine, however notice that Martha is missing. Upon searching the house for her, they notice a body lying by the tree out in the backyard.
And don't really have one stoner boner.
And discover a grim scene. Martha is lying, lifeless with her pants down. Her body appears to have been visibly beaten, and a few feet away from the body, broken remnants of a 6-iron golf club.
Holy shit.
This club was eventually traced back to the Skakel family. Autopsy reports claimed that she was bludgeoned and stabbed to death, all by that 6-iron. And since Thomas Skakel was the last person she was spotted with that night, he was the prime suspect in her murder. Due to a lack of sufficient evidence, however, he, among the other suspects, were eventually absolved.
What?
And as a result, the Moxley case, frustratingly, went cold. 3 years later. Thomas's 18-year-old brother named Michael Skakel is arrested for drunk driving.
What a great family, all around.
Admission to Elan. While there, Skakel was known to be problematic and outspoken. According to Elan students at the time, he would regularly boast about a girl named Martha and how he sexually assaulted and killed her. One student named Gregory Coleman,
what a weird thing to brag about,
recounting how Michael had gone on record to state that, "I'm going to get away with murder. I'm a Kennedy." The Kennedy reference was alluding to his relation to Robert F. Kennedy, something that would prove pivotal in launching his eventual trial to the national spotlight. At the time of his confession, though, nobody could do anything about it. Given the overbearing nature of the rules set at school, any student that tried to tell someone about this was quickly reprimanded. It would take an entire 22 years before Skakel's actions would reach the public eye. In January of 2000, he was arrested and charged with the murder of Martha Moxley, and due to his relation to the Kennedys, it was a case that commanded the airwaves. Since Skakel's primary vehicle of bragging about his crimes was Elan, this, by proxy, had also thrust the school into the national spotlight. Dozens of students took the stand, exposing the callousness that occurred there. The humiliation, the general meetings, the beatings, the ring, the deaths, all of it was brought into the public eye. Realizing this, Joe Ritchie did everything he possibly could to keep discussion about his operation to a minimum.
He looks like Neil Breen.
He eventually took the stand, downplaying any mention of Elan, touting its high success rate, and doing everything he possibly could to divert the attention back to Skakel
and hope you like God Slap
Skakel
Creamy
only. But this was only marginally effective, as this was in the 2000s. An interconnected era of information catalyzed by a little something called the internet.
That piece of shit, huh?
Michael Skakel was eventually found guilty of the murder and was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. After serving just 11 years behind bars, he was granted a new trial in 2013, in which he was let go after posting a $1.2 million bond.
Oh, Jesus.
Today, he walks a free man. But back then,
Tier 1 sarcastic,
the cat was out of the bag.
Phil Swift and
The
Stick.
inhumanities committed at the Elan School were documented in one of the most high-profile cases in decades. And because of this, people began talking, theorizing, and investigating, effectively marking the beginning of the end of Joe Ritchie's iron grip on the hundreds of students that were helpless beneath him.
Thanks to the resub Nathan and the Prime, Green Gorilla, and Tuga sub Sarcastic.
But with his weakening grasp on the media surrounding his operation came a different hurdle that Joe Ritchie would soon have to overcome. In June of 2000, he was diagnosed with lung cancer caused by his well-known addiction to cigarettes. And just 6 months later, on the 29th of January 2001, Joe Ritchie would pass away in Portland, Maine at 54 years old. As a result, his second wife, Sharon Terry, would take over operations at Elan. It was clear, though, that due to the increased publicity among the rising alumni testimonies, the idea of Terry having a lot of PR work on her plate was putting it lightly. Throughout the years, numerous changes would be put in place in response to outside.
Hold on, someone just said something. Skakel is in jail, by the way. His conviction got reinstated in 2016. Thanks to resub Monty, Geo expert in chasing bubbles. Well, this video is brand new, and he said that he's a free man. Let me see. Let's take a peek. I don't see anything about him going back to jail. Yeah, there's nothing about him going back to jail. Literally nothing. He got reinstated, just exonerated in 2020.
For instance, the ring was eventually forbidden from being used as punishment. And while this was substantially a good thing, the other cruelties would remain. What Sharon Terry was unaware of, though, was that due to the rapid rise in technology, namely the internet, even her reign over Elan would soon meet its demise. When the water settled following the Skakel case, mentions of Elan were made on various forums throughout the next few years. They would get people talking, however it wasn't quite enough for definite action. By 2010 though, something would change. A website that we all know very well would help spearhead one of the most effective exposed stories in the history of the internet.
I want to take a guess. I don't know the story, but I want to guess. Is it Something Awful? Something Awful used to be pretty powerful. No way, is it Reddit? God damn it.
That website was Reddit.
Son of a bitch!
On November 26th, 2010, a man named Jeff W., who went by Gazaz My Hero, would make a post titled, "Even skimming this once will blow your mind. Most probably think it's made up, but you'd be dead wrong." Within it, he explains that he was an Elan student in 1998, before outlining, in detail, the reality of what took place there. They're mostly points that we've already covered and explored in great detail tonight, but back then, These claims were unbelievable. The school was very much still in operation, so some initially had a tough time wrapping their head around the fact that a place like this actually existed. But then came the comments, the other stories from other alumni with their own experiences. Gazaz My Hero's post carried weight. It was real, and these atrocities needed to be
Tier
known.
1 Dewey Nose and 2 gift sub Zugi.
Eventually, this thread would rack up over 2,000 likes and 1.4 thousand comments. While this may not have caused Alon's closure outright, it aggressively reopened old wounds. 2010 was not 2000. The internet user base was exponentially larger than it had been, and resultingly, the effectiveness of this newfound attention caused a massive amount of backlash that the Alon school had never before experienced.
Thanks, 3 sub chimeras.
4 months later. On the 23rd of March 2011, the Alon school announced that it would soon be shutting down. Cher and Terry blamed the call on what they deemed to be libelous remarks made about them online. The school has been the target of harsh and false attacks spread over the internet with the avowed purpose of forcing the school to close. The school, unfortunately, has been unable to survive the damage.
Shucks.
And on the 1st of April 2011, the Alon school would close its doors.
What a great date to close on fucking April Fool's Day.
They blamed it on declining student numbers in hopes of diverting the attention away from the actual cause. But on the outside, everyone knew the real reason. For students, this was unbelievably good news. However, the damage they endured was something that would remain.
Thanks to the Prime Bands and Sutrus and the resub, Wilhelm, Geegan, and
numerous suicides have occurred as a result of attendance at Alon. PTSD with alumni is rampant, and it's clear that the school had done nothing but damage people. A filmmaker and former student named Todd Nilsson, creator of a fantastic Alon documentary named The Last Stop, has gone on record to state that, as a student, he was helped by their unconventional tactics, but he knew the majority of others weren't quite so lucky. Today, hundreds of stories remain online about the cruelty committed at the Alon school, about the facade they upkept for 41 years. Reading through these are eye-opening, and you can find them on nearly every piece of media and documentation that exists about Alon online. To all of you that have shared your stories, that have opened up about the torment you went through, your voice is the reason that Alon ceases to exist today. This video would not exist without you, and I wish I could say that I feel your pain. But I don't.
What's Cher and Terry up to? Let me take a peek. Cher and Terry, what's going on? Wow, since 2011 she has vanished. Holy fuck. Her spirit was trapped in Alon, and when it closed down, she just ceased to exist. Holy fuck. Yeah, I cannot find anything of Cher and Terry after 2011, my god. Well, thanks to the resub. Physics. God damn, that was fucking intense. So I imagine over the course of 41 years, they must have had a lot of students graduate, and I'm really surprised that it took Reddit to be the one to finally shut that shit down from one post. The graduates were brainwashed. That's true. I guess it's hard to really understand that perspective, since I obviously wasn't there for the brainwashing. I'm gonna go fill up my water now. I'll be right back. I'm very curious about this. Recommended actually gave me something that sounded interesting.
Hello? This is Rhodey, aka War Machine. The former is played by actor and Academy Award nominee Terrence Howard. The latter is played by actor and
Don Cheadle, the man. Also, Terrence Howard's the guy you might remember has been trying his best to convince the world that 1 times 1 equals 2. He tries to completely change math as we know it. That's how I know Terrence Howard.
For the first Iron Man film, but you might not know why.
Didn't he want like a ton of money?
Within these big franchises that consistently gets torn down and torn apart by the media when you realize what's going on underneath. But having the title of Oscar winner on a resume means that they can also charge more for their performances. By the time Iron Man was rolling into production,
so it is a money thing. I'm pretty sure it was just money.
Around $3.5 to $4.5 million for that performance.
Not bad.
This made him one of the highest paid actors in the film.
Pretty solid.
And at that time, he's actually paid over 6 times more than Robert Downey Jr. He only made about $500,000.
Only is the wrong word for that number, I think.
Studio on-set money. When a project like Iron Man is successful enough to create a franchise, it's usually great for everyone involved. The directors and producers...
Except Terrence Howard.
Robert Downey Jr. was rumored to have made $10 million for the second film, a pay increase of about 2,000%.
Not bad.
He was able to, on the other hand, was actually offered a significant decrease in pay from what he was expecting to earn.
I'm jealous. Next time.
Marvel eventually offered only $1 million. It's rumored that Iron Man director Jon Favreau was ultimately unhappy with Terrence Howard's performance.
I do remember hearing that they did not like him. Like he was very rude.
But to make sure that Terrence Howard's future roles would be measured against a larger contract.
Yeah, so it really was a money thing and they just didn't like him in the movie.
Returns in the future on the next film or the film.
It's not super deep, it doesn't seem.
After the dust settled, publicly claimed that he was the one who recommended RDJ for the role of Iron Man, but that he ultimately was happy with the way things turned out.
Terrence Howard is a really weird guy, though. Like, aside from giving a bad performance and wanting more money, he's a very unlikable person to work with from everything I remember reading. Plus, he's the guy that keeps really trying to push that 1 times 1 equals 2. Billionaire wants to create futuristic city in Arizona desert.
And he wants the first phase to be built by 2030. Team 12's Michael Doudna has...
Sounds cool to me.
But is this utopia built in the desert even possible?
The technology to do what he... Who is this, God? Oh my God. Holy Lord. Where is he?
He's the first person that tried to build utopia. In fact,
wow.
Lord wouldn't even be the first...
Man's communicating from heaven. I wishing him the best. Good luck. I was just reading about the Jagex situation. They just shut down RuneLite HD, which has been in production for 2 years, where a guy named 117 put 2,000 hours of his life into it, and it was supposed to release, I think it was today, and Jagex today said, fuck you, and they shut it down. Even though they've known about its existence for the last 2 years, they waited until launch day to shut it down, just to fuck this guy in the ass as hard as they could. It was despicable. I was reading up on that. From what I understand, it wasn't the old school RuneScape team that did it. It was more of like the upper echelon of Jagex, but my God. That's some toxic shit. If they really didn't want that, they could have told him at the beginning. I watched the update on Yandere's simulator. No, let's check it out. Is Yandere dev still acting like a weirdo? Oh, it's done?
He's made a statement on the WordPress. He's made a statement on his Patreon. He's decided to let the people know who are financially supporting him what exactly is going on here.
All right, it's ready. Whoa, look at that. So after what, 9 years in development? It's finally ready? I mean, this is probably one of the most troubled developments of all time. Very public meltdowns, almost nothing going right, but we got there, baby. We fucking got there. It's not actually done. These posts make it sound like he thinks it's done. Oh, it's just a separate game mode that he finished? Jesus Christ. Oh. Oh my God. Alright, I see what's happened here. Jesus Christ. What's the point in never finishing the project? Is there any benefit to him? Yandere Simulator is it's old school. This shit was in development for so long. Most of the big YouTubers played it. PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, they've all played Yandere Sim. It was a massive, massive game when it was like first released as like a demo thing. And then I believe it was put up as a crowdfunding thing that has just never even been close to done, and the developer has very public meltdowns. He like purges his Discord and Hangouts once a week, or at least he used to. It's been a true disaster of a journey.